There we go. Got it. All righty, and hitting got it right here. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here in Morocco at Northwest of Mexico. How are you? I'd like to welcome you all to our Impromptu Improv. Happy Holy Degree to you all. And I'm here with my magnificent and beloved brothers and a special guest in whom we're well pleased. And they are, I think I'm pointing the right way this time. They are
Islam. Happy Holy Venus Degree to everybody out there. Peace and love. I am Brother R. Bey. All rights reserved.
Her going deep, bro.
That's my bike.
That's my bike.
My pump.
All right. Go ahead, bro.
Islam. I am Brother Alim. All is well. And due to some, hard taking actions, my bros also call me
Braveheart. Man, we have a special guest, man. He has been very, very generous with his platform. He is actually a consistent and great when it comes to the rap history, not just near the Baltimore Corporation, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to get it wrong, but you guys may have heard his music from the soundtrack portions pertaining to The Wire, if I'm not mistaken. However, his brother is very down to earth, very loving, huge heart, all righty? He's from the Mully and Marco show. It airs every Wednesday at 9:15 Eastern. Post meridian, that is. So 9:15 p.m. every Wednesday. This is our beloved brother in whom we're well pleased. You got a drum roll.
Drum roll, please.
We got some sound bites here, bro.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know, right? It sound alarm, right? Our beloved brother in whom we're well pleased, and he is.
Bro, hey man, listen, y'all energy is crazy, bro. I'm loving this, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all big time. Infinite gratitude, infinite love, man. I go by the name of Mully. Some call me OG Mully, Mullyvation. You know what I'm saying? One half of MicBroSis, one half of the Mully and Marco show. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Shout out to Mother Nick Styles. You guys got to check out, man. Matter of fact, he mentioned MicBroSis. We're gonna actually put that up there right after we do our invocation, and so people can get familiar. Guys, go to where they can say. I'm going to just look it up because I just had it up recently when we had used the Simmer Down for the promo. So you guys can go there. We'll also put the information in the description so you guys can get to know Mully, all righty, guys, because at the end of the day, what I recognize, and I'm open for correction, so that's another thing we do here on Impromptu Improv. If I say anything that's out of order, I am open to be corrected in front of everyone. However, I see and hear every Wednesday and see consistently, you want to check the brother's timeline on Instagram, there's an energy that I think the apropos term that he used is Mullyvation. He has his own way of delivering an energy that really it doesn't pull you in, it's magnetic, all righty? And you will be magnetically attracted to wanting to share and just being positive and giving and uplifting energy. So usually when he invites us, invite any one of us pertaining to Seven Hill Star actually to the Mully and Marco show. Shout out to Brother Marco also, all righty? So when we get invited there, you know what I mean? I do B-rolling. I'm like, man, I want to do something that show that, you know what I mean, we actually enjoy being there. So we'll promote it, you know what I mean, in cross promotion fashion. So I would love for you guys to get to know it because this is my thing before I get started. When it comes to Moorish Americans out there in the public eye, I think in my experiences last 8 years, it's a bad taste left in people's mouths. So what it is that we do here at Seven Hill Star, we allow ourselves to just be ourselves and work the principles no matter where we go. And Mully has opened up his meta home to us. Can I say that? Can I say meta home? Because we're with the whole virtual reality stuff of it all. However, I and Mully are both from near the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic. All righty. So it's very interesting just to see how two beings from what I think has been statistically thought of as dope nod central to actually come and bring an energy that shows we weren't affected by that adversely. However, use that as a stepping stool to show that there can be better for not just for those that are from where we're from, however, across the entire planet. Did I say that properly? Not to be too verbose.
That was great. Yo, I love it. Dope Nod Central. I love that, man. Like, we overcame Dope Nod Central. I like that.
Indeed, absolutely. So with that being said, well, because yo, when I used to be at Muhammad's Temple of Islam #1 serving pies and cakes, and I'll go downtown and hit them nail salons and barbershops, you already know, baby. Like, hold on, brother, you got them pies. Let me get 2 of them. Like, right around Lexington Morgan. I ain't BSing. But we know what it was like on a Saturday first, especially if Friday was the first of the month. I'm not being vicious. I'm telling you what our experience has been. You feel me? Like that's what it is for real. Even though, like, I think my brother, shout out to Stretch, shout out to Bulldog Stretch, has sent me a video, told me to look up that there's a new Lexington Market. I said, what? Really? And I looked at it, I'm like, at like a 2-level R house now, man. Remember how they got built that joint called R House near the Remington Corporation? Like right outside of Hamden, you feel me? Yeah, I was like, hey, man, I wonder if it's still like the same size or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I know when we grew up being in Lexington Market, bro, it's like you would see Constance Peanuts and then you go to see the hot dog stand. That's what I remember getting off the subway hitting Lexington Market. You feel what I'm saying? So when you would get off the Lexington Street side, not the Saratoga Street side, you know, you can come up off of, you know what I mean, the Lexington Market joint out of 2 sides of the subway, you feel me? But without further ado, let's get started. I'm off my soapbox from pontificating about. Now let's get into the introduction. I'm gonna screen share here. We're gonna do our invocation, then the 2 letters to be read in every meeting. I'm gonna do the invocation, then turn to Moorish American prayer. Brother Bey is gonna do the first letter to be read in every meeting. Brother Alim is gonna be doing the second letter to be read in every meeting. And then we're gonna go in on our topic, cognitive dissonance, the real coronavirus. Because corona is crown in Moorish Latin. Am I correct, Brother Aura? Corona is crown, correct? You muted, bro.
My apologies. Absolutely, you are correct. Corona is corona, which is crown, and then obviously they use that for the name of a beverage as well.
I know, right?
But even on the beverage, they have a crown. That's the logo. You know what I mean? So yes, it absolutely is crown.
And virus, if I'm not mistaken, because we're going to go into the etymology. So we're going to show you guys and we're going to share, you know what I mean? And that's why I made sure, I ain't going to front. I texted and called Mully. I'm like, yo, I want to invite you to this joint because I think it'll be a good opportunity for both our audiences, you know what I mean, if that's how it would be considered, to actually see like, hey, look, this is what Moors that are sincere. We're not on some birth certificate authentication, some secure party code. We're not knocking people that do that either, but we're showing you how you can do things without filling out federal agency documentation and capitulating the federal practices, where you can actually have a life without it. We know it's, you gotta be weaned. It's like, hey, I'm used to this titty though. It's like, you gotta wean you off the titty, but there's a way you can actually have a life and have your stuff, your private and personal property to yourself without actually having to have corporate agencies in your business. Did I say that right? Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure I said that properly because I know how, you know, sometimes, you know, my mouth, you know, it's a sensitive ear detector. You know, sensitive ears like, oh, I'm offended. It's like, please don't be offended. However, this is what we're going to do, guys. So I'm here. All right. You guys can get this book from rbbaypublications.com. Shout out to Mother Ross Mariah V. Bay. We're just going to have everything that we're going to do, the 3 that I listed from the administrative functions for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, which ultimately is umbrellaed under the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Because after the Moorish Divine and National Movement, you have the Old Canaanite Temple established 1913 by Prophet Noble Drew Ali near the Newark, New Jersey Corporation. However, when Woodrow Wilson was the governor back in 1913 and Prophet Noble Drew Ali established the Old Canaanite Temple there, he had actually sold the United States Service Corporation. When you guys read the book or read up on the meeting at Jekyll Island, just outside of the Florida State Republic, and in 1925 It was re-registered, I think, in 1925 near the Florida State Republic, if I'm not mistaken. However, that's because Woodrow Wilson had told Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you can give these niggers back Islam if you want. It'd be like putting a pair of pants on a horse. And I think we're with the shits, actually, with going, I think our people are way more intelligent than trying to put a pair of Levi Strausses on a fucking stallion. That's a male horse. So with that being said, what we're going to do is share with you the things that are actually necessary to show you that even after that, Prophet Noble Drew Ali established, actually, I think in 1925 was when it was organized. 1926 is when you had the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. And then in let me make sure it's 27, 28, right, you got to go back into the Moorish Leaders' Historical Message to America, where we had the Moorish Holy Temple of Science the Moorish Science Temple of America, actually, because the Moorish Holy Temple of Science adopted as its corporate name, Moorish Science Temple of America, to do business as. So if you look at it like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Moorish Science Temple of America is actually Megazord, if you know how to do the administration properly without trying to take advantage of people in a reverse church fashion. That's not what the Prophet brought. Not knocking people that do maladministration. However, I'm knocking people that do maladministration because I'm not making any adverse, I'm not speaking adversely against any organizations. I'm speaking adversely against maladministration, period. Because there's a spirit that actually takes over that actually is hindering our people that want an answer to their community woes. All righty. So what Seven Hill Star has done is made sure that we read these books like this and got it for ourselves so that we're clear on what we're actually supposed to be doing in our administrative functions. That's it. So let me get started, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to put 5 appendages on the left hand up, 2 on the right. All righty. We want to stand like Prophet Noble Drew Ali here on the square. He actually has his feet on a 45 there. Even though he's standing due guard, we're going to have 5 on the left, 2 on the right. You can participate if you like. It is not an obligation to participate. However, this is what me and our bros do to actually just honor Prophet Noble Drew Ali. No truth and faithful Moorish American worships Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We honor him for bringing back that knowledge to honor our ancient foremothers and forefathers so that our days are long upon the earth land. And that's not to be like Bible toting, beating people over the head with the Quran and stuff, because we know that chapters 2 through 19, when you read the epilogue in the Holy Koran, what people call the Circle 7, but the Holy Koran for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America, chapters 2 through 19 is actually the 18 years pertaining to Jesus's life, Yeshua, for those that have those degrees, Yeshua's life that are missing out of the Bible. Remember, you see him at 12, speaking with the doctors of the law, you don't see him again until he's 30. What happened to those 18 years? Chapters 2 through 19 in the Quran. And so we all know that sincere, true, and faithful Moorish Americans know that Moorish science is for, these lessons are for all those who love Jesus. However, when you're in the adept chamber, you get those higher degrees, you recognize that Jesus is Yeshua, which is justice, period. All righty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand and face east. East is symbolic. If you go and read the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary by Charles Fillmore, east actually means to go within. However, as we do it physically and face east, hold 5 on the left, 2 on the right, standing there on our square. We can repeat after me either in your heart or aloud as I do the invocation in Islam. Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
And for those, it's funny too, man. I know we build this thing while we fly. I'm too cool to be embarrassed, but I should have zoomed in right there so you guys can see it right there. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. You can't tell me that the prophet ain't bring astrology.
I was on mute.
By night and by day.
My apologies, guys. I was on mute, but I was there with you.
Islam, would you say, my love? Okay, do your thing. Do your thing. I know you're gonna be tuned in. All right, you gonna remind me, Diesel? You probably sit here because I'm still sitting here. So we're gonna go to the first letter to be read in every meeting, Brother R. Mully. As you can see here, we're on page 84 and 85 for the first letter to be read in every meeting. Alrighty, the following is a letter written by Prophet Noble Drali on the 18th day of January, 1928, Anno Domini. He commanded that it be read before every meeting, and I yield the floor to our beloved brother, in whom we're well pleased, Brother R. Mully Bey. Islam.
Islam, bro. Thank you. Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, 3603 Indiana Avenue. Noble Drew Ali, founder. Chicago, Illinois, January 18, 1929. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Dear brother Islam, I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as an American citizen, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that contribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present, that I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration to represent the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause. Noble Drew Ali.
Islam, gratitude indeed, bro. Here we are in the Moorish literature, the excerpts from the Moorish Guide newspaper, actually. This is the Moorish literature, also another book that you can order from rvbaypublications.com. Again, shout out to Mother Ross Mariah V. Bey. We're on pages 12 and 13, and again, Prophet Noble Drali is standing handsomely here in his Sharif's Moorish fez, his Moorish Sharif's fez, in his Abba standing dugard here on page 12. However, on page 13, the second letter to be read in every meeting will be read by our beloved brother, in whom we're well pleased, Brother Sean Alim L. And we yield the floor to you, bro. Islam.
Islam, divine warning by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslim governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet in the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways, by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
Man, gratitude indeed, beloved brother. We appreciate that, man, because that is paramount that these letters are read in every meeting before we get into what we get into. And without further ado, man, let me make sure I can go right here. I'm trying to wonder if I still got, do I still got it? Let's see. let's go right here because I know it's right here. Let's see. Let me go to MicBroSis. Now, hold on. I must have hit the space, right? And let's actually do that if it'll come up. Let's make sure. Boom. This is actually what I actually played yesterday. However, let's go to the Mullyman topic, right? All right, you guys go in there and do that right there. All righty. So you guys can actually subscribe, add to the energy there for our special guest that we have here with us, Mullyman. So you guys can actually get to know, all righty, by seeing the catalog of his music that he has here on YouTube. However, I'm telling you guys that the energy that he brings in just his being in existence will actually allow you to open up to immediately support. And that's really what it is. You know, mostly people will support music once they get to know who you are. And I'm going to be completely and honest with you guys. You already know how we are when we do what we do musically. And it's very few people that Brother Hasan vouches for. This is a brother that I'm going to say, because he's embodying the principles that we know that Prophet Noble Drew Ali is speaking about in his literature, that I'm going to say that you guys need to go and just go and click subscribe. All righty. Simmer Down Now, right? That's what I call it. Simmer Down Now. But no, Simmer Down by MicBroSis. This is both, if you guys can see, let me just click on it so you can see completely. And I'll just bring it up. Oh, here's an ad. So let's get past this ad. However, you guys can see it. Let me zoom in. You see it's Mullyman and Nick Styles.
Y'all know what time it is.
Don't mind before we get into our topic, because we need to simmer down on a cognitive dissonance. You know what I mean?
One time for a chick. No, I'm not gonna quit. Nah, simmer down, simmer down. Want some more and that's it. One time for a chick. No, I'm not gonna quit. Nah, simmer down, simmer down. Simmer down, simmer down. Trying to get rid of me, hold up. No invite, but I showed up. I am blessed cause I show love. Get that chip off your shoulder. You are not enemy, huh? You are my enemy, huh? Welcome to I don't give a and will not pretend to be, huh? Need you to do me a favor, cause people be pissing me off. You see that I've been on the court? I need you to pass me the ball. You said that you don't wanna lose? I promise you I never lost. It's kinda like playing Serena at Wimbledon, passing it to Coco Golf. One time for the one time, hit DJ Booth for the one line. Call Nikki Cardi, Remy D Trinata, the merge us together like a combine. One time for the one time, hit DJ Booth for the one line. Call Nikki Cardi, Remy D Trinata, the merge us together like a combine. You told me to patiently wait was the plan. So what am I still waiting for? See that I do not understand. Everybody come up close, gather around, listen up, listen up. What you about to witness is MicBroSis MBS for life, that is us. One time for a chick, no I'm not gonna quit. Nah, simmer down, simmer down. Want some more and that's it. One time for a chick, no I'm not gonna quit. Nah, simmer down, simmer down. Simmer down, simmer down. Trying to get rid of me, hold up. No invite, but I showed up. I am blessed cause I show love. Get that chip off your shoulder. You are not enemy, huh? You are my enemy, huh? Welcome to I don't give a and will not pretend to be, huh?
One time for the king. Mully here to do his thing. Here to win another ring. Throwing rappers out the ring. Titles and championships. My whole life they told me I can't be the shit. I MC with the hammer. I am too legit to quit. One mic, one love. Mic jack, one glove. Moonwalk while these coons talk. Y'all gon' really make a goon spot. Come play for the runway. Wrong way up a one way. Oh, say, can you see what? Kaepernick on a Sunday. Every day is a Sunday. I take him to church when I shine. Even though time don't exist, it's just a matter of time. Out the way at one time. Waking up to death, dumb blind. I'm talking mind over matter. Even more spirit over mind.
One time for a chick. No, I'm not gonna quit. Nah, simmer down, simmer down. Want some more and that's it. One time for a chick. No, I'm not gonna quit. Nah, simmer down, simmer down. Simmer down, simmer down. Trying to get rid of me, hold up. No invite, but I showed up. I am blessed cause I show love. Get that chip off your shoulder. You are not enemy, huh? You are my enemy, huh? Welcome to I don't give a and will not pretend to be, huh?
MicBroSis guys, go to Mullyman, all right? Mullyman, guys, and go and make sure you hit the subscribe button. I think it's so unique because let me ask the obvious question here. It's MicBroSis because you are brother and sister on the mic.
Right,
Do I have that right or wrong? Mully?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Microphone, brother and sister.
Gotcha.
It's the amplification of for the voices of brothers and sisters around the world. That's the movement.
Islam. So guys, go and make sure you subscribe there. And again, because our principles are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when I recognize that there are people that are exercising universal principles, whether they're in a fez or not, all righty, guys, our Moorish community can be tough, Mully. Oh, what is Seven Hill Star doing? They got people without feathers and turbans and playing their music. I'm just telling you what it really is. I'm not being negative. And Mother Sahar, who's in the chat, along with Brother Kevin, peaceful greetings to you, Mother Sahar. Islam to you also. She says, peaceful greetings, Brother Hasan. And I know she's saying it to you too, Brother R. Happy Holy Day. She says Islam and greetings to the other brothers as well, is what she says. And Kevin Blaze Moore says Islam nobles, happy Holy Day. Happy Holy Day agree to you also, Brother Kevin. And so what it is I know like chapter 9, right? Should we start out with cognitive dissonance on chapter 9? I would love to show you that because let me tell you, chapter 9 is one of my favorite chapters. And I know Brother R is about to bring some heat and some fire too. And this is what we do on our Impromptu Improv. We didn't even discuss chapter 9, but however, my spirit is like, yo, bring up chapter 9 because I want y'all to see when a kingpin in the hood got the thoughts, the stick-up boys, and the scammers to get out the block to come and hear Jesus teach. Is that a good way to start this off? And because it really exists. I'm just gonna have to translate it how it looked. Y'all would think that's good to start off?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So let me go here, right? And go to my iBooks real quick and let's bring up the Quran and let's go to chapter 9, right? It's the Holy Quran, right? And for people that's not familiar with the Holy Quran, the Moorish Science Temple of America, look, yo, don't be intimidated. This ain't no Bible toting for real. Like, let's beat you over the head with something. Nah, that's not what this is, yo. The first principle is love. All the other principles are inherent. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You can't get the truth without love. You can't get the peace without truth. You can't get the freedom without peace. And justice is just going to take its course. Whether you're on the right side, the handle side of the scimitar, or the blade side of the scimitar. You feel me? That justice is going to take its course. But it's the Holy Quran for the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And those are the 4 gates. A lot of people say it's a circle 7, but it's actually dealing with the fact how many days are in a year, how many days are in a month, how many days are in a strong, but some people call it a week. And the answer is 7. Because if you can tell me as the 8th day, then tell me what the name is of the 8th day. It's only 7 days. I know, but it's 365. Okay, name the 8th day because we got to get all the way to 365 names now. So what we do is we keep things common sense. All righty. So that everybody can be able to go on an esoteric journey. Esoterics is soul evolution. So they can be able to have a metaphysical journey, which is the science pertaining to being. The science pertaining to ultimate reality, which is ye, or non-statutory you, right? So, because you, according to title, according to 20 CFR 422.104, is one who owes a debt to the United States. So we're not calling you debtors. So that's why we say non-statutory you. All right. So let's get to chapter 9, right? And just to make sure, like, some people need to know, like, all right, so look, what is this? All right, so the genealogy of Jesus is what it going to with the 18 years of life and events, life works and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. And as I have highlighted, these events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are for all those who love Jesus and desire to know his life works and teachings. All right, cool. It might sound a little churchy right there, but we're going to break it down and let y'all know that Jesus is actually you. Your inner you. How people say save yourself because you're your own savior. All right. So save yourself wouldn't be SAVEYOURSELF. Save yourself would be SAVIOR. Did I spell that right? Or is it S-A-V? Some people would say S-A-V-I-O-U-R, savior, right? Self. So you're being the self-savior. All right. So pardon me on any missed orthography there, or what people will call misspelling. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love justice. I'm gonna give y'all the higher degrees, because we know those that can speak the higher degrees, which we freely can. We know Jesus is Yeshua, which deals with justice, your inner being, the I am identity. So be just to oneself. Don't put a burden on yourself. That's really what it is. All right, we're not gonna pass collection plate. Not knocking those that do. However, we're gonna make sure y'all get the science. You see what I'm saying? And we give y'all access. Y'all already know, y'all go in the description. You know what I mean? Or go to our Instagram. We give y'all access to all the books we have access to, so you can try to prove wrong what we're telling you, because we want you to not believe anything we're saying. Try to prove it wrong. When you prove it right, teach your loved ones. And if there's anything you want to share it with us. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones, that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons, you can set your house in order, and your children will learn to love instead of hate. These lessons, the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I am a prophet and a servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive this pamphlet at expense. So it means that, if it costs me 3 notes to put together, then you just won't give me 3 notes, because that's what it is for administration. So I can get some more paper, some more ink for real. I'm not making a profit off this. The reason these lessons have not been known is because Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when time appointed by all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac, even though Allah is feminine, the walking calendar is woman, mother. So she's all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac. They loosened the keys and freed the secrets. And for the first time in ages, have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet in 1927, right? All right. So if you guys want to see the rest of that by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the industrious acts of the Muslims of the Northwest and Southwest Africa, which is where we are. We already know that what they think is Africa, what most people think is Africa, is Al-Kibalan. And we know that what people call the Western Hemisphere, which is actually the Far East, astrologically speaking, because you're talking about the 180 degrees longitude running through Brazil. This is the Far East, actually. However, and you guys already know that have the astromasonic science behind that this is East. All righty. So we are that silent brotherhood of the East. However, everyone is. You must be your own savior once again. These are the Moabites, Hammatites, Canaanites, which is just tribal names of groups of beings. However, when you go in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, you'll actually see that there are levels of consciousness that different people go through as they're going from the materialistic self to the spiritual self. Some people are stuck in Egypt. Egypt is not the place you think it is. Egypt metaphysically actually denotes, which means its actual meaning is those that are in mental bondage to sense consciousness. That's an Egyptian. However, an Egyptian adept, which is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali is one that can actually have self-mastery enough to overcome the materialism. And then just when you become an Israelite, not people standing outside, not knocking those, but if you're outside with a karaoke machine shouting out Bible stuff, that's cool. That's cool. We're going to give you what the terms actually mean. So hopefully that will better your practice. All righty. Not to knock you. All righty. That's what we do here. I know sometimes my voice could probably come off annoying, probably piss people off. That's not our intention. So I trust that you hear me clearly. All righty. These are the Moabites, Hammatites, Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission from the Pharaoh of Egypt to settle in that portion of Egypt. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. So I know when you guys read that, what we're fighting every day, we had to go through it. As brothers here at Seven Hill Star, we had to go through fighting cognitive dissonance so that we can be able to comprehend the words that we are reading by sight, but can we read them by etymology? Can we read them by actually knowing what the root denotation is? Connotation is slang. Denotation is what it really is. Connotation is slang. Denotation is really what it is. One more again. Connotation is slang. Denotation is what it really is. So before we get to chapter 29, I want to show y'all the epilogue real quick. right? To show y'all that chapters 2 through 19 is what's missing out of what most of us have been brought up to think is one thing, but it's another. So check it out. The epilogue for chapters 2 through 19. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. Who was he? Yeshua, right? Yeshua ben Meridian. Some people say, but it's Joshua ben Yosef. All mothers have wombs. There are no men on the planet that have children. Again, you don't have to believe anything I say, but however, I don't think any men go through oogenesis every 28 days, according to the moon cycle, and have an ovum exit the ovary, travel the fallopian tube, and implant itself to the endometrium, which lines the mother's uterus, awaiting defibrillation from some sperm cell that was put in us sons by our mothers. Just want to put that out there. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age, and the events after he had risen from the dead. Again, this is something internal, not something 2,000 years ago. Believe nothing I say. He appeared back to India, Europe, and Africa in the land of Egypt and made himself known unto the world. These events are the 18 years that are absent in your holy Bible. The events of John the Baptist, John taught by the Egyptian sage, the meaning of the baptism and how to baptize himself. Y'all see that right there? This is why we're telling you, this is about you going inside yourself and cleaning yourself up, because baptize means to cleanse. So when people be like, oh, that's brainwashing, I think it would be apropos for you to get your brain washed if it's been dirty for so long. Mm-hmm. And after he was baptized, he was taken at the age of 12 years into Africa, the land of Egypt. And there he remained in the Egyptian schools 18 years. And there he learned his duty as forerunner of Jesus, Hananiah ibn Elizabeth, right? Because we all know that the word John comes from Hananiah. You might have heard Hannah. You might even see in certain Christian theological realms, like one of my favorite didactic pastors in the Christian theological realm, because of his approach to the wordings and how he used it, is Joseph Prince near Singapore Corporation. All righty, because he has a way of bringing the Hebrew term Hebrew and being able to show you the calligraphics and bringing out the pictures, which really assisted me to not be stuck in a stupor of belief. So I could actually utilize these things, which led me even closer in getting to declaring and proclaiming my nationality and taking on that which Prophet Noble Drew Ali has brought actually for all of us. And again, you ain't got to convert. You ain't got to believe nothing I say, because this ain't a conversion thing. It's about being yourself. All right, so let's go to chapter 9 real quick, and I'm going to hurry up and knock this out real quick. And then I want Brother R to go in. But however, Brother Mully, where we at so far, man? What you think the people would think by the time they see this portion of this video up to this time? You think, hey Mully, what you on this live doing, bro? Like, I want to know. Like, what would the people say, man? Where are you seeing this? Because I know you have an open mind.
What you over there doing?
You got an open mind, Mully, and that's what brother, I sincerely love that about you, bro. I really love that you have an open mind and an open heart. So I just want to take this segue before we get started on chapter 9. What do you think so far?
They rocking with us, and they want more, pun intended.
Islam. All right. Chapter 9. Jesus attends a feast in B.A.R, right? So after I finish reading this, then Brother R has a presentation, and that's when, and like I said, y'all already know, anything I'm saying, you can interrupt. I know how I got a flow or whatever, but you can be like, whoa, hold on, yo. You know what I mean? I got emotional outbursts, or hold on, man, I'm having an unvolation. Let me share this. Go right ahead. That is actually encouraged in impromptu improv, because none of this is actually planned, except the fact that shout out to Brother Corey Bey and bringing up the cognitive dissonance due to the most recent experience we had in the past 24 hours. And we were speaking, with some beings that are unconscious to what it is that Moorish Americans are about. However, a lot of people will think that when you start learning this stuff, that you're the devil, Bobby Boucher, and you're trying to buck the system. And it's like, how can you buck something that is not even operating within the confines of the objective? Again, it's like when you go to somebody's house and play Uno, and they be like, yo, we piling colors and numbers. But it's like, hold on, let's read the rules. It's actually, the rules actually say the piling on can only happen in succession from player to player. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes people just try to modify the constitution of uno. Uno, again, one being in one's self, uno, right? And you got to really not play color games with yourself. So we're going to probably go into that too, but I'm going to let brother, pardon me, not let, I am going to enjoy the presentation that brother R brings right after this. So look, this is where like, yo, what's up, Pop? You know what I'm saying? In my eyes, this is how I see it. I don't need anybody to adopt how I see it. However, this is how I share this story. Ak is a kingpin in the hood. Flat out, Joe, a kingpin in the hood. He's just one of them cats for real that know how to move. He ain't on no bogus shit. He ain't really being bothered. However, he see Yeshua's in the hood like, oh shit, there go my man Jesus. Bruh, what's good, yo? Hey, yo, for real, yo. Hey, yo, I'm about to get the barbecue started. Let me go fire up the grill. Let me get all the hoes off the block. Hey, yo, come here, yo. Hey, look, y'all have to stop your little processes. Come on, Apsley, come on over here, bro. Dude, I need you to stop scamming. I need you to stop being a stick-up boy right now. And shorty, cover them titties up a little bit. Come in the backyard, yo, grab yourself a plate. Come listen to my man's teach real quick. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. So I'm going to point out what's going on in this story. That's really the preface of it. All right. And I'm going to fill in certain blanks or whatever. You feel me? But if y'all want access to the books that we have, it is free. You can go to our Instagram at 7 Hill Star or our Astrology Street. In the profile. The profile, there's a link for our link tree. The first one is Prophet Noble Drew Ali University. And all you got to do is click on the link. When I get the Gmail that say so-and-so and so-and-so want access, all I got to do is turn you into a viewer and approve, and you got access to our law library. So you got law dictionaries, other things with case law, newspapers, things of that nature. Free, like 10 free videos of us going in on Prophet Noble Drew Ali and what he brought for real. And I give you access to all of my astrology books too. All right, so here we go. Chapter 9. Jesus attends a feast. He is attending a barbecue at B.A.R. And what I want y'all to know that usually any names in the Bible or whatever, or in the Quran, you can go to a metaphysical Bible dictionary by Charles Fillmore, which is in the library at Prophet Noble Drew Ali University. And you can actually, you can break down each of these words and replace the term metaphysically, what it means. And then you're going to start seeing a clear picture and take you out of belief and start getting into your own self-mastery for real, which is what this is about. I ain't here. None of my brothers are here to control your growth. We want you to have what was supposed to have been given to you over 109 years ago. All right. So Jesus attends a feast in B.A.R. and here he taught human equality. All right. So the fame, right? So motherfuckers is on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, like, yo, Jesus, yo, he be teaching, yo. So it's spreading all over the internet for real. So the fame of Jesus as a teacher spread through all the land. And people came from near and far to hear words of truth. So now you can do that easily, man. Somebody could be near the Baltimore Corporation for real. And then everybody across the world can come and hear him because they got a phone. So with that being, or computer or tablet. Minute 2. At B.A.R. on the sacred river, anytime you see river in the Bible or the Quran, it's talking about streams of thought. All right. In the river of the Brahm. So basically in the thought stream or the thought path of like priestly thinking, he taught for many days. So that my man is rarely teaching himself. He's going within. And Ak, see, like, what's up, Ak? Let's say Ak, yo. That's how I see it. And Ak, a wealthy man of B.A.R. How is he wealthy? But for me, because of where I'm from, and so that I can share this story the way I share it based on how I came, I'm like, oh, dang, yo, this like whoever bro was that was in the hood, that was that for real, but wasn't on no BS for real. But my man's, you know what I mean, will always bring somebody who has some sense to come through, and it would actually kind of mitigate the BS in the hood for real. You feel me? So, and a wealthy man at B.A.R. made a feast. All right, so he threw a cookout in honor of his guest, Yeshua. He like, yo, come on through. And he invited everyone to come. And many came. And many came. Among them, the stick-up boys, that's the thieves. The scammers, that's the extortioners. And them hoes over there, that's the courtesans. I want y'all to be clear that that's who's at the barbecue to hear Jesus teach. And Jesus sat with them and taught, but they who followed him were much aggrieved. So the disciples that came with Jesus, they like, oh shit, man, what the fuck is this? Hold up, man, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Why?
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that, bro, because a lot of times when you shine a light, people react in many different ways. Like, you know, they're not used to being, they're like, sometimes they take the approach like they feel like they back in school. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, you know, I feel like I'm in class or something. I remember I put on a Taj lecture in the middle of kicking it, like let's stop bumping this music for a minute. Let's listen to it. And after a while, they was getting mad, like, put the music back on, bro. Like I remember this, bro. I was at a warehouse and I was like, yo, because we talked to each other while we working, right?
Word.
So like, you know, I can't really talk about nothing other than, you know, uplifting and falling humanity. That's where my mind is at all the time. So when you start talking about, then, you know, I was like, let me put something on real quick. Yeah, they want the music back, so that, you know, I could picture that back then and relate that to now.
Islam, bro. So you already know the disciples is a little bit mad. We know this anthropomorphics though, bro. We know this is actually something internal going on inside. However, we're going to anthropomorphize it. In other words, we're going to give personality where there isn't any personalities really, so that the lesson can be taken on. However, this going to turn into cognitive dissonance, because what this is showing is that there's a story that's missing from the Bible, because it's chapter 9. Remember, I took you to the epilogue, showed you chapters 2 through 19 is the 18 years that's missing. So imagine all the people, if they was in church or wherever, they got to really hear this, how we kicking it. I think a lot more people would be like, hold on, yo, Jesus actually spoke with the stick-up boys, the scammers, and the thoughts at a cookout that I threw. Shit. All right. I feel different now about how I'm reading this book. Now I can actually read this book for myself. I ain't trying to be better than or show that I'm an upstanding believer or something. Nah, man, this is actually how you get some do right in you for real. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Without having to look for a reward for it if you really desire to do right. You feel me? But they who followed him was much aggrieved, so the disciples is pissed. Because why? Because Jesus sat with the stick-up boys and the thoughts. You see how I don't mention extortioners? Mm-hmm, when it said that the reason why they was aggrieved. What'd you say, bro?
Yeah. They was aggrieved about 2 of the 3, but they were probably closely associated with the other, and that's why they didn't. You know? Because
they about to extort Jesus right now.
Yeah.
They about to extort him. Watch. And they upbraided him. So imagine Jesus sitting down, they put their hands under his armpits like, yo, come here, Jesus, let me highlight you real quick.
Right.
Mully, how's this story so far for you, bro?
Man, I'm tuned in, man. I'm loving it, bro.
All right, just want to make sure, man, because I want to make sure that this is something that the people can really like take. It ain't them having to do as we say, or now they gotta convert. This ain't about conversion. It's about, hey, yo, this is how we can actually fix our communities, by showing them like, oh, okay, well, hold on. Let me go and meet myself in this literature and get my consciousnesses aligned, or how people say get their chakras aligned. Because what you'll see is, what people haven't been told is the Bible, the Quran, any so-called holy book, which is the law book, is really dealing with 2 things: your consciousnesses, and is dealing with your endocrine system. You feel me? Is really dealing with your endocrine system, which aligns with your chakras. You feel me?
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's like when you really look at this joint, and then right after this, Brother Aura got some things where we're going to go into looking how you line these things up in federal law, state law, and municipal codes. Because it all really ties in. And I just think people put this on repeat for real. Okay, you want to play some music? You kicking it like bro say? Cool. You can have 2 things playing. You can have a lecture of Brother Taj playing, or 7 Hills Star playing, while you got some music playing in the background. Don't think for 1 second I wasn't shooting Call of Duty while listening to a lecture. I'm killing shit online.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you before we is someone going to define cognitive dissonance for those who doesn't know what that means?
Man, let's do that right now since you asked. It's so funny because that was one of the actual plans. So let's actually do that.
I can start it off if you want, or one of y'all.
Oh yeah, give what, man. Tell us what's on your heart, and we will also bring up Adam online. So tell us what's on your heart, bro. I yield.
Okay. So cognitive dissonance, from my comprehension and understanding of the word, are that perspective that changes depending on who it's applied to. So say for instance, example, sometimes, okay, I know we don't agree with the terms per se black and white, but just for example, as far as how society views people, say what so-called white people look at black people and hold them to a certain accountability, but when it comes to themselves, may not hold themselves to that same accountability. That's my perspective of cognitive dissonance, where the same thing changes when it applies to you than when it applies to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. I would actually accept that. I yield though. I'm not gonna cut your wisdom. Continue. I'm listening.
Yeah. So, and that's just my perspective of it, of looking at something when it's convenient to be one thing for you, it's deemed as bad. When looking at somebody else, it's not deemed as bad when looking at yourself, and it's crazy because people like I'll give another example. Say for instance, melanated skin being demonized as something bad, yet tanning.
Right.
Islam.
Like that's you saying that someone saying money is the root to all evil, but then two things, saying in God we trust on the money, or passing a collection plea.
Right.
It's bad when you're looking outward, but in receipt instance, it becomes good. Cognitive, like it
becomes good, or they neutralize it, like they won't judge it as good or bad, like because. Yeah. And what's funny? It's funny you bring that up, bro, because there's that book, The Four Agreements, which I don't even think I really finished the whole thing, but I know it was talking about one of the four things that one should try to refrain from doing is judging oneself, which because a lot of people actually do judge themselves. Maybe they are judging themselves, but outwardly they're acting like like it ain't bad, but it's probably eating them up inside, like what I'm saying. So
right,
yeah.
To add to y'all wisdom, see, and my thing is, and this is why I love doing what we do. What our thing is to make sure that the square peg is in the square hole. So when it comes to looking at, as you brought to the table, and it's so perfect that you asked what cognitive dissonance is, and I did say that, hey man, we got to go into, what it is pertaining to these terms. And this is how Impromptu Improv go. I know people think like, hold up, what about the rest of chapter 9? We'll get to it. Because Mully had asked the question, it's good to actually see. This is one of many references that we actually have physical etymological references, but also for people to just get a flash reference online. Etymonline.com. If you go and look up the Old English term black, so we're going to show you how, not based on what people may think, well, that's what you believe, or the Moors or whomever, or the so-called white people think that you guys are black. Let's actually put the square peg in the square hole and then ask ourselves a question. Can we be this? So let's think first ancient. First, before we get to pale, because I know you guys see me zoom in on pale, right? All right, which is what black actually means. Black actually means pale. However, before we get in that, let's take you through how to read etymology. First, you get the term, right? Black. Then you get its mother, or what's called in Latin, the matrix. Some people say matrix. So the matrix or matrix is Latin for womb, which is the part of speech. So black is an adjective, which means it's a descriptive term. And then it gives you back to the future coordinates. It tells you Old English. But how do we know that this is back to the future coordinates? Well, when you scroll down and knowing how to use this website, at the bottom, all right, it gives you Old English, correct? That was my computer over here, guys. Don't worry about it. It's all good. When you go here under About Etymon and you go click on Explanation of Terms, and the introduction and explanation, if you scroll down to Old English, right, we're going to be able to put into a timeline Old English. And remember when we was on with Marco and Cammy, Mully, and I had asked a question, I was like, what were we saying? Because the word black is only about 1,500 years old, right? And I was like, what was the term used before? And I asked Cammy and she said jet. You remember that?
Yes.
I remember that.
Islam. So now when we go and check, all right, what is Old English, right? Anybody, I yield. If you want to read it, I yield.
Old English, the English language as written and spoken. 450-C 1100.
Yes, circa. The C
Circa.
in front of the number is circa, which means around
Circa.
about the time. Mm-hmm.
Circle around about 450 to 1100. It is purely Germanic and has several dialects: West Saxon, Anglian, Kentish, Northumbrian.
So then even further, it's letting you know, first of all right, so most of us, I think all of us in some way, shape, or form deal with music, some way, shape, or form. So let's put this in terms of like, this is a time that an album came out, all righty? So when the words black and the word God, both, one being an adjective, black, and God, it'll say a noun, but when you do the etymology, it's actually a verb, and it denotes to call upon. However, let's not go there. Let's stick with black and Old English. The fact that this album wasn't released till 450, I'm going to show you how a violation in law happens. Like when you have a movie talking about the ancient gods of Egypt, and the word God is Old English, just like the word black, and it didn't come out till 450 Anno Domini, between 450 and 1100. How can you use that word in a retro perspective? You can't. You can only use ancient into the current. You can't take something current and apply it to the ancient without violating the timeline in the orthography and morphology. That's a rule in linguistics. So if the album Black didn't come out until 450 to 1100, how can we apply it to a BC time of any time? Again, let's put the square peg in the square hole. I know what we can feel about the Old English term Black. However, it didn't even say Old African. It didn't say Old Nigerian. It doesn't even say Old Malian. It says Old English, which is a commerce language to do business with. And if you were to take, let's round up. Let's do a little mathematics here. Let's round 450 up to the nearest 100. You get 500. Let's round 2022 down to the nearest 1,000, which would be 2,000. If I was to subtract 5 from 20, I got 15, correct?
Mhm.
So if I subtract 500 from 2000, or what we call 2000, I would have 1500 years ago when the album Black probably dropped. The Black album, right? Like Jay-Z. When I'm just saying, like when the album Black dropped, it couldn't have dropped independent of when this particular language was spoken. Imagine there's a language called Mully, and somebody uses, let's just say we know it's from where we from, but motherfuckers be like, air, like when you calling somebody, you see what I'm saying? And people go, yeah, like let's just say 1,000 years from now. Now, that was, let's say, it was attested into Old Baltimorean, if people would call it. Let's call it Old, let's call it Algonquin, right? Because near the Baltimore Corporation is Algonquin territory, as they'll call it, right? Sasquesahannock territory, for those that will do the history on near the Maryland State Republic. All right. And let's say was established 1998. But then somebody will go and tell you 1,000 years from now that Euro is the ancient term. So now they're talking about the ancient Euros of Egypt. Would that or would that not be a violation?
Definitely a violation.
You see, because now they're lying about when it's established. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is not a believe nothing, please, but don't believe anything we're saying. What we're saying is look at how we put things into perspective so that we cannot be held to someone else's thinking or spirit that they're trying to put on us.
That's the key right there, what you said. That's the key out of everything you was just saying, the culmination right there, what you just said, that was the major key, the jewel that just dropped. We're being held to someone else's mindset, even though it's not even really their mindset. They're acting a certain mindset amongst you and then behaving a certain mindset in private. And when I say they, I'm talking about those who want to keep the monopoly game going, those who want to keep us in whether we think it's voluntary or involuntary, it's servitude.
Correct.
Because yeah, when a colonist come up on the land, the first thing they're gonna do is try to have you pay them rent. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna come to your homes where you at. They're gonna slave you, take what they want, or you know what I mean? Like they have an agenda. When they come with a mission, they got a mission. They're not coming there to be your friend, really. You know what I'm saying? Like certain people have a mindset and they work to that means. Like they raise their children on this. You know what I'm saying? They're deep in it. Like, you know, whether that was, you know, people that they might have grew up in the military. They might have grew up in the bar, what do you call it? Like the British accredited registry system. You know what I mean? They might have grew up around the judges, and then but these people, they real people on the land, bro. They're just part of family. They're doing what they're doing just like on autopilot, just like our people do what they do on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's deep right there, bro.
So to continue with the wisdom, so that we about to get into cognitive dissonance. However, why would we be going into cognitive dissonance? Because we have forgotten, this is not what Brother Hasan thinks, or what Seven Hill Star thinks, or the way we believe. We have learned and read the objective when it comes to being a PhD. All PhDs rely on etymology. Once you really go into history and law, which is jurisprudence, what you realize is you're going to do one of two things: tell the truth or continue to lie. Those are your only options.
Right. That's why, yep. I said it so many times in songs, bro. Like they want to live a lie.
You feel me? And this is not an attack on anyone. I think that if we actually share with you what it is, instead of thinking, well, I got mine, you got to get yours. Fuck you. That's not what this is. What this is, all right, if you really want to save yourself, well, let's continue in what Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. How did Prophet Noble Drew Ali begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
Not teaching them to be themselves.
Period. That's it. That's all. It ain't no, you got to feel guilty if you don't come to temple or you don't go to any place that you might exercise your quote unquote workshop of the mind, which is where the word worship comes from. How are you working the shop in your mind? Well, we showing you how we chopping it up in our carpenter's shop, because Jesus was a carpenter. However, what is he building? His character. By way of what? Studying. So that he can be a brother and a son effectively. Even to the thieves, the scammers, and the thoughts. The stick-up boys, the scammers, and the thoughts, without trying to get in their pocket or their pussy. Yeah, we gonna talk real. Let's talk real then. You feel me? So I'm listening, bro. Go ahead. Spread your wisdom, bro.
No, I was feeling with y'all. It's a couple things I was feeling when you said by teaching you to be yourselves. If you look at my hoodie right here, it say Goldie, greatest of all time, you.
Islam.
Like basically, when people ask me, how do they find success, the truth, happiness, purpose, I tell them the same thing. I say, work on being the greatest of all time, you.
Move your strings, bro, so they can actually see it. Move your strings.
Yeah, hold on. Right here.
It's funny, too, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali manifested January 8th, 1886. That means he's a Capricorn. You feel me? Capricorn sign is the sea goat.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah, real talk.
Yeah. That's love. That's love. And
you already.
What resonated with me with what you're saying is basically he went out in the hood versus around the people that's already like him. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the greatest testimony is changing displaying change in the person that in the eyes of the public is the least likely candidate for change and ascension and growth and transformation. That's like, if you really want to prove something, you want to take something that isn't already the way you want it to be or already close to it, but something that's seemingly the opposite as an example of a miracle in the eyes of the people, or what actually can be done. It's like, if you wanted to really show the ultimate example of fitness, you would take the most out of shape person, a super overweight person, or somebody that's way out of shape. And if you bring them into shape, that would be, in the eyes of the public, an undeniable testimony of how to get in shape.
Islam. I'm in full agreement with that, bro. I'm in full agreement. All right, Mully's question is, what is cognitive dissonance? He gave his wisdom from his perspective on cognitive dissonance. And what we're going to do to add to his wisdom is we're going to go back here on this portion right here. We're going to zoom in, zoom back out. And I was typing cognitive, but it's like, as soon as you had mentioned black or whatever, I was like, all right, let me just bring it back or whatever to show y'all that really, and at the end of the day, that I already typed cognitive, cool. So just to show y'all, black denotes pale, actually, even though it say up here, Old English, Blake, absolute quote, absolutely dark, absorbing all light, the color of soot and coal. And, some people gonna be like, yeah, see my skin. And it's like, you never really met anyone who is charcoal. You might see people a heavy copper tone or a heavy olive shade, but they are never actually this. Not our people. However, there is a people that is pale, who that when they actually die, they have no more life in them. Their body actually turns black. So what that's letting you know, like a negative from a picture. Remember, like you take a disposable camera, take pictures, and you had to get a negatives to get transferred. It's like when we pass away, those with the copper tone skin, those with the olive shade tone, when we transition, our skin actually turns pure, which is what is known as white. White means purity. Purity is God, which means to call upon, which is the ruler of the land. It's funny that you should make you think why they call this the land of the dead, because a lot of things are only determined by what happens after life, when you're observed after life. However, if this knowledge is passed down and we know this while we're living, then we can get back to our immortal state without having to really be anything imaginary. This is really put the square peg in a square hole. So the actual black people are those that are pale. It's like Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. This is not my belief. I'm taking the word, I'm looking at black, and then as I'm reading from Proto-Germanic blakaz, quote unquote burnt, source of Old Norse blakar, quote unquote dark. Okay, so now I'm seeing all types of terms. But it's like when you read etymology, you're going from the fruit, the leaves, the branches, down the trunk, into the roots. Once you get into the roots, you really start seeing what it is. So yeah, we can see that it's dark. They're going to say in Old High German, blah for black, in Swedish, ink. Come on, man, ink. So you're ink people? I know there's the Incas. I'm just saying, but I don't think that again, there is a people's mindset that is calling us out of who we are. Like, for example, the Iroquois that the French called the Haudenosaunee Iroquois. One more time. The French call the Haudenosaunee Iroquois. So when people talk about, the Iroquois Constitution, the Haudenosaunee, who are being falsely called Iroquois by the French, don't even call the Guyana Shagoa, which is what it's actually called. Guyana Shagoa is the Great Law of Peace. They don't call it the Iroquois Constitution. So now why would they subscribe to something outside of their ancient foremothers and forefathers' principles? Unless they're being forced to do so.
Or unless they grew up not knowing.
Again, being forced. Because growing up not knowing where you actually come from means you're being held as an orphan to servitude. Right. When really those that's holding you actually have a debt to make sure you know, because they're trustees over your estate, but refuse to unlock the keys to you because they would much rather you to stay a resident, which means you're knocked in the head stupid. I'm telling you, if you guys go to this website and look up the word resident, and you see when you go to dwell, because it's going to have dwell in the etymology, and then the word dwell means to be led into error. To be misled or led into error. So when people say I dwell, they're actually saying I've been led into error and misled.
Right. Which kind of like when you think of the word, I know when I think of the word dwell, I think of like being like in the same state, kind of like wandering, right? Mm-hmm. So that would make sense that one who would actually be in that state of wandering, right, would actually be under some type of hypnosis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So my bad. My question, Mully, is reading this, bro, and just coming up from how you were raised to coming to some new information. And now you're digesting this in your mind. You like, okay, well, I was taught this, and that's how I see how everyone does. And now that you're seeing this new information, how does that make you feel and how you make you think, right? Because it makes you think. It's like, hold on now, like, why is nobody else saying this? Like, this is what it really is. So then it comes to that point. It's like, okay, do you want to ignore the truth, or would you like to know the truth and fix things and admit, hey, I've been duped, but hey, let's make things right?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. All right, so I've been plant-based vegan for the last about 8 years, right?
That's love.
Yeah, and during this journey, so much revelation just finds you when you align with the correct appetite for life. Hip hop, it's interesting with words that I'm always very careful with words, even understanding what hip hop did by switching words within the culture itself. Meaning hot doesn't actually mean hot. The temperature, or cool doesn't literally mean cool. Hot and cool could literally mean the same thing. Or I'm bad, LL Cool J, doesn't literally mean negative, but bad meaning good. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
Right.
You know, so all right, so I come from a culture of manipulating the English language already, which we call slang. But then it's very interesting to me how the power of spells through spelling is relevant to what happens, and how you could ultimately be placing a spell on yourself that you not know of in your daily life. So for me, as a person that strives to be the best wordsmith they can be when it comes to every level of jargon, this piques my interest just to know every perspective of every word and how it can affect me and those around me.
I can't say it, bro. You're speaking my thoughts. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us have thought that thought, bro. So I have no disagreement. I yield.
If I could add to your wisdom, bro, what you were saying, like what you were describing in the beginning, to me, that sounds like social engineering. You know what I mean? Because the people who control like the academics and the colleges and stuff, because you got to think, where do the so-called smartest people come out of that help shape the future? And basically that's being ran through them colleges and the fraternities and the secret orders and stuff like that, right? So they are the ones that playing games with the history and the language and the books, right? The knowledge. And that's social engineering. And then, you know, but it's crazy how it can be done through the music, like you were saying, hip hop, right? How you know, and I don't know if that was like a planned thing or if just people just was probably like in under such crazy conditions that they took the stuff that was considered crazy and bad and used it in a positive way as fuel to, you know, to basically you know, blossom out of the concrete, right? Like a rose that rise out of the concrete.
Right.
Yeah, but it sounded like you were describing social engineering, bro. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, absolutely. But check this out. It's both, because all right. As a people, like we're all right, just how we're building right here, we're very brilliant, right? You give us nothing, we gonna come back with something out of it. You give us trash, we gonna turn it, we gonna somehow convert it into treasure some type of way. You give us scraps, we gonna make some type of structure out of it where it's something that it wasn't when whatever you give to us, right?
Yes,
So
and look, I want you to know that I'm not giving eye contact. I'm sharing on Facebook about the DM people on Instagram. So please keep spreading your wisdom while I'm sharing. Go right ahead, bro. I yield.
oh, okay, bet. No, I know we are together. With hip hop, based off of their level of overstanding or understanding or understanding, right? They're just we naturally created a language within a language to communicate with each other, and it's really us subconsciously knowing that ultimately this isn't our language. So because we, without even consciously saying it, knowing that this isn't our language, our native tongue, we found a way to communicate within it without it actually being what was put on us to be the natural way to say it. Now, but then you say something else.
It's like you, not to cut your wisdom real quick. I just wanted to say it's like we engineered what was engineered and given to us. Like you gave it to us and we engineered it again. Like, all right, boom.
Yeah,
I know
we remixed it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yo, so that's how like low key brilliant we are, to the point that they saw the brilliance in it and said we need slang dictionaries to keep up with the sub language. And if you notice, now they use our sub language. They have a sub language to come back and have the secret meeting of hip hop, right, to fill private prisons,
right,
to communicate back with us. Not to say that we're stupid and we're not going to learn your language, but no, we need slang dictionaries to learn the language. Like, these guys are brilliant. And then they've created a subculture. They've created the only original culture, you know, over here that originates here, is not stolen, made up, like starts right here. You know, the influencers, they looked at the influencers and said, let's study this sub language that they've created out of a language that they intuitively know isn't their native tongue, and created something that is influential to the point that they had to say, have that secret meeting and say, all right, we're going to use this now against them. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take this same formula that they use and use it against them to give them a message that is negative for mass incarceration, which is basically an extension of slavery, which is just basically a way to not lose your slaves.
Right. A way to not get the keys back.
Right. So that's what we're saying. That's the back and forth. Like we know it. Like hip hop had it right at one point. It was very diversified. Someone noticed that and said, "Wait a minute, y'all think that the you know, you think it's a joke."
That's because they know the science to a certain degree. I was telling my baby the other day, I was saying, I don't think there's ever been a time in history when there wasn't a group of men that weren't trying to project a way of thinking on the masses. Because I think we've always been very populated. You know what I mean? I don't think it was like small. I think it's always been a lot of people on the planet, and they realize like they can't just get rid of everybody. They can't do it. They've tried. Yeah. I don't think they can. You know, so I think there's always been a group of people out there that try to that really push a state of mind, and that goes back to what Brother Hasan was saying about living out someone else's mindset or something like that, right?
Right.
Because and it goes and that takes you to propaganda. This is why, you know, and then boom, that takes you back to Noble Drew Ali saying that our greatest weapon is the press. And it all comes back full circle, Islam.
The greatest weapon in our hand is our free national press in order to shovel ourselves from under the avalanche of lies heaped upon us annually, if not daily. I yield.
Who else
ahead,
gonna
finish
tell
your
you that
wisdom.
you Moors? Moors. Anybody else want you to know you Moors?
And that's why he says also, in order to change the people, you must change their literature. But that's the thing. Most of our people today, they don't even want to read. Like when I think back to when Noble Drew Ali was on the scene, they was still operating with lawful money. Like it was different. Like today, compared to like what are we in according to the Gregorian calendars, 2022, right? Heading
Correct.
into 2023. And this was around, 100 years ago, the prophet was on the scene, but they weren't like, they weren't like under the conditions that we're in now. It's,
Right.
like we're in a great condition due to the fact that so many people is becoming conscious, but it's just to become conscious and see the condition that you just came from. I'm like, whoa, that was me. That's how I was acting. You know what I mean? And you can't be mad at them or nothing. You just like, damn, I was there. You know what I mean? But you want to help them. You want to help people. You want to shed light. I guess I've been talking to people so long, bro, that I kind of know, according to the energy, what I can say to get favorable reactions. You know what I'm saying? Because the goal is not, like the bro says, it's not like about converting anyone. You're
Right.
gonna see for yourself. You're gonna start to see who you are for yourself. You know what I mean? Because so much truth. It's like when you get lied to all the time.
Right.
You're receiving a different vibration than when you're just being fed the truth. It's a different quench to your thirst. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're on the streets and you're being given lies and you think you got to be like this, and you're basically thinking you're being yourself. You're out there being tough or getting into it or do whatever you're doing. Really just being a menace to yourself, right? Because you're responsible for your body, your mind, your thinking, your health. We're responsible for ourselves, but we keep thinking like, or we've been programmed right through social engineering to be dependent, relying upon others to think for us or to do things for us or for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So like this information, I can't think of no other word other than it's liberating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, and I'm gonna share with y'all a term that I have a whole concept behind when you say the words liberating. I haven't even shared because I haven't wanted anybody to take in this, but I'm just gonna share it just because I'm still gonna do it. But when I think of free, I look at free as an acronym for faith rewards every experience.
I like that.
Faith.
Hashtag Mullyman, free.
Yeah, free. And basically that means that no matter, we're here to experience and express.
Right.
And through the most sincere level of that, we have freedom. That's why jargon, when the brother asked him, as far as the question of overstanding jargon, when you said you was comfortable speaking to certain people because you know where you come from and where you've graduated to, but you can still speak the jargon necessary to communicate with them, which is like what as an MC we do. We speak the jargon that's necessary to speak to some of the people who aren't necessarily where we're at yet. But we can give them, not making them do anything, but give them the ideas and options to make their own best decisions to be the greatest of all time them.
It's about liberating. Like that goes back to the liberation. The information that you're giving them is bits and pieces of something that's going to guide, that's going to allow them to guide themselves to liberate themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. Facts. And that's why, if you ever notice, we talked about social engineering, radio programming, television programming, and then propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
The reason how I became plant-based was I realized that it's all about a control for your appetite for life, and that they're essentially targeting your mind and your gut. I'm sure y'all heard the term gut feeling, because your gut feeling is real. Your gut literally operates like a brain, and your mind pretty much controls your body, which does affect the soul, the spirit, which is essentially what we actually are. And when, once I realized that your appetite for life is so essential, I realized, because I had the revelation, I guess around 2012 or 13, to be the best version of myself. And I realized that my appetite, I grew up on chicken boxes my whole life. So
I mean, come on, yo. Chicken box, Western fries, half and half, you already.
Right. You already, right?
4 wings, Western fries, half and half. For y'all don't know what a chicken box is, that's 4 chicken wings, some Western fries, and you gotta have a half and half.
Right.
Which is half tea, half lemonade. For those you ain't from near the Baltimore Corporation, I hear.
Right. Yeah.
It's called Arnold Palmer this way.
I know.
Yeah, they do call it an Arnold Palmer, bro. That is what they do call it from the golf courses. Exactly. I yield.
but once I realized that my appetite for life had been programmed a certain way, I start to realize everybody around me was in that same chicken box mentality, and that we was acting out that way.
The chicken box mentality.
That's pretty funny, bro. I know you didn't mean to make it that funny. That's a funny soundbite, bro. Seriously, bro, I yield.
But when you tuned in, it just flow. It's like I don't overthink. I just let it flow as it's coming, man. And then what's the name, man? I didn't even know I was going to be plant-based vegan. I just told myself I was going to be the best version of myself. That's what all I knew. I didn't know what that meant, but I was going to be honest every day till I got to wherever I was supposed to go. And I was like, when I became, all right, so we talk about the ultimate testimony. When I went from a chicken box mentality to full plant power, anybody that seen me asked questions because they knew what I came from and they wanted to know how it was possible. And they want to know, how do you get your protein? How are you sustaining it? What do you eat? These are the questions they had. How do you feel? Do you feel better or do you worse? Do you feel like you got more energy or less? And I told them, I said, man, I'm exercising the greatest level of discipline. I have the most guilt-free eating now. It definitely boosts your energy on another level, and your energy is your number one currency for sure. Like nothing can match energy. Like when it comes to what energy is tied in as far as intellectual property, your ability to get up and move, how people perceive you. In terms of value.
That's a right. That what you're speaking on right there, that's Brother Hasan said about your person, houses, papers, and effects, and him saying your rights are effects. That the right to govern your energy the way you want to, that's a unalienable birthright right there.
Oh, so that's one of the laws y'all practice.
Well, it's a principle.
Principle, yeah. Okay, yeah. Wow. Yeah. I literally I wake up and I exercise that every day, knowing that no matter what value system someone tries to impose upon me, I know that I know what value really is, and that what they consider the hierarchy and value as far as money is just a byproduct of true overstanding true value. Meaning I value people resources. I value my energy being up. I value my intellectual property. I value bartering. I value relationships. I value knowing that I have a right to perspective. And once you understand that, money is just a byproduct of true value. As long as you're a slave thinking that money is the absolute value, you'll never be able to conquer that mathematical problem that seems impossible to solve, because your understanding of value itself has been twisted.
That's all.
So they put you in a broke mind state by making you praise money. So they make you, it's kind of like y'all said what they did with black and white. They make you think by thinking about this, it makes you wealthy or rich, but it actually puts you in a broke mind state by valuing that first. Because if you talk to a billionaire or something like that, and you ask them that value system, almost one of the last things they're going to say is money.
Correct. That is correct. To add to the wisdom, if any Latin need to be pronounced, we can, and I'll click on certain things that we do here. I have cognitive here on the screen share, and it's part of speech, it's mother, it's matrix, is adjective, because etimon is the egg. All righty, the womb that it comes from is an adverb. Anybody want to read? Go right ahead.
Bro, no, not to cut your wisdom. I'm trying to think when Brother Mully is talking about the gut. Now, if I'm thinking correct, Pharaoh and the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary went with the solar plexus chakra, if I'm correct.
I think you are correct. If we was just to real quickly go into the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary.
Pharaoh said, let my people go. It's like, you got to let yourself go, you know? If I'm correct, I think Pharaoh was the solar plexus chakra.
So let's see.
About dealing with the gut.
That's heavy. That's heavy, bro.
So let's see. So the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, as I said earlier, when you go into it, you'll actually find that these words and terms, even down, you saw when we first came in, I was on Jesus, you know what I mean? Which is the I am identity. That's what Jesus actually is, the I am identity. Yeah, all righty. When you go into metaphysics, and then we can define metaphysics in a law dictionary, so you guys can see that the law books are the holy books and the holy books are the law books. It's just that someone mindset made it so that the people don't know that this is how it's supposed to be used. So there's been mispresentations that have been put out there. Whoa, I think I was right there, bro. Pharaoh, right? Boom. I yield to you, bro. Go right ahead.
I mean, size us down.
Hold on. Is that it?
No, go over next page.
Next page it is.
I think it might be that next.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me take this out. 2 seconds. Is it? Hold on.
Terrell, or it might be back. No,
yeah, it might be back. And there we go. Right there.
All right, here we go. Bam, I was right. Pharaoh, the king, the Ra, the sun, king of Egypt, the name or title of Egyptian's king as mentioned in the Bible. Genesis, degree 12, minute 1541, Exodus 1 to 1430. First Kings, degree 3, minute 1. But let's go metaphysical. Pharaoh means the sun. He is the ruler of the solar plexus.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said, bro.
Subconscious mind.
Let me highlight that for you, since that's where you went in. Go ahead. I yield.
That's fine. In the sun-centered subconscious mind, this is obscurity, or Egypt, as we said before, mental bondage, sense conscious to the conscious mind. Pharaoh's, the sun's being in Egypt, shows us that the light of the sun of righteousness is veiled about our life on the lower or sense plane. Joseph's being sold into Egypt signifies that our spiritual consciousness is being bartered away, that we may enjoy the things of sense, and that the life forces are being spent in their gratification.
Correct, which is what Mully was talking about, the chicken box mindset. I yield.
Yep.
Pharaoh also signifies.
Hold on, what you say? Somebody else was saying, hold on, Brother Sean, were you saying something?
When you said that's what Mully was talking about with the chicken box mind, I was just saying, yep.
All right, yes, indeed, I yield.
It's fine. Pharaoh also signifies the whole house or whole body consciousness. He is the force that rules the body under the material regime. His being ruler of Egypt means that he rules in obscurity. Thus, we understand that this one to whom Joseph comes is not in divine understanding, yet is receptive. When the Lord shows him coming events in his dreams, he seeks to know the true interpretation. And when he is convinced, he makes the new state of consciousness ruler next to him over his whole kingdom.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. To just say what Brother Sean was bringing. See,
solar plexus too is also ruled by Jupiter. So when it comes to your faith and guru, so yeah, I yield, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, man, just to add to your wisdom and to show how this all is coming together. With even what Mully was saying about, he decided to go plant-based vegan. So at the end of the day, he was allowing the lower or the sense consciousness to be no more, however it was in his life. Only you know, Mully, by your experience, what that is, where you allowed yourself to no longer have sense consciousness rule your life. So therefore you put yourself in a spiritual consciousness to actually rule over the sense consciousness. Would that be the just a quick way to put it? Just how I'm interpreting it.
No,
nobody has to adopt that.
That's very accurate. And as I went on the journey, I just trusted the process and went in the direction of the revelation that I felt. I started just every day working out more, eating better, studying, being more careful of the people I was around, and then writing off more things on my happy list. And that would be accurate, bro.
It's not. All right, cognitive. Who wants to read cognitive? I yield. You want to take a stab at it, bro? Go right ahead.
Where it starts with 1580s?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, cognitive. 1580s pertaining to cognition with I've plus Latin cognate, past participle stem of cognoscere, to get to know, recognize, from assimilated form of calm together, gross, what is that?
Nocere.
Nocere.
Mm-hmm.
To know.
So hold on one moment. So that means that cognoscere, which is cognoscere, which is saying to know together. All right. Proto-Indo-European is what PIE is. Proto-Indo-European. So when you see from Proto-Indo-European root, know, right? And those burgundy hyperlinks are what they are. They're hyperlinks. So even if you guys were to go to where the suffix IVE, where Mully came across first, you could go there, get more comprehension on how IVE is used, right? In terms of where it is used and how things actually come across, pertaining to, tending to, doing, serving to. So the IVE is doing or serving to do, right? Then when you look at co, which is with, together, or in like Moorish Latin, con, which is called Spanish. Moorish Latin is known as Spanish in these days and times. However, it's when you even go prior, it's called Moorish Latin. So when you get into that, you see con, C-O-N, or com, C-O-M, is dealing together or with, right? So then when you get into know, G-N-O, which deals with gnosis, right? So you'll see that this actually forms other words, right? And gnosis is right there. When I said it, gnosis means knowledge. So cognate or cognitive, or in the Latin, as we see right here, cognoscere, right? Cognoscere means to know together. So that's what cognitive is, doing a knowing together. So let's do a know together. That's what we're even doing here on Impromptu Improv. All righty. We're doing some cognition, some cognitive experiencing right now. However, there's another word in this title, which we said the real coronavirus is cognitive dissonance. So now we're using cognitive, the adverb, as an adjective to further modify what kind of dissonance we're speaking about. Now, what's dissonance? We already know that cognitive is a doing and knowing together. So together we are making sure we know. So we're making sure that we know together. That's what cognitive is. Let's see what dissonance is, right? Dissonance, of course, is they're going to say we would have to go to dissonant. However, boom, I yield. Anybody want to read? I encourage it. Go right ahead.
Islam. Early 15th century, dissonance, disagreement, discrepancy, incongruity. That goes back to what Mully was saying about disagreement, right? Inconsistency between things, from Old French dissonance, and directly from medieval Latin dissonantia.
Correct.
From Latin dissonantem.
Correct.
Present participle of dissonare.
Dissonare, but correct. Continue. I yield.
Quote, differ in sound from dis, quote unquote, apart, and dis is a prefix, right? Plus,
right, that's the prefix, correct.
Islam plus sonate, quote, to sound, make a noise, end quote. So sonate, yeah. Okay, so Moorish Latin sonad is like a sound, right? Or to
correct
sound out, sonad, right?
Which is what dolphins put out.
Yeah, there's a sonar.
They're doing
right?
echolocation.
Sonar.
Correct. Or like the digital audio workstation for music. For those that know about sonar, I yield.
Sony.
Again, Islam.
Islam. Sonade. So to sound, make a noise, right? Sonad. Yeah, right. Like sonó tu teléfono. If you say sonó tu teléfono, you're saying your phone rang. Your phone made noise, basically, right?
Correct. Islam.
From PI or PIE is Proto-Indo-European root swen, to sound. The etymological sense, inharmonious mixture or combination of sounds. Inharmonious mixture or combination of sounds is attested in English from 1590s, right? So
hold on. So cognitive dissonance is together. We're making sure we're knowing together an inharmonious mixture of sounds.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's what cognitive dissonance is.
It's an imbalance.
Wow.
And that's like what bro was saying. That's like what you were saying, Mully, when you said you're looking at it out from one eyes, right? Looking at them like, oh, like they're like this. But even though if you would be looking inward with that, judging that same action or character or whatever deed, whether it's a word or thought, you're looking at it in a different way. So when you're speaking to each other, there's an inharmonious, there's a disagreement basically at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we'll look on, we see it all the time. We'll see characters, we know how propaganda works. We'll see one character get praised. Well, we even see it within the masculine and the feminine. Like guys, growing up, we get praised for conquering a bunch of women. Sometimes, but a woman is just demonized as a whole, just off of not really looking into the details of her upbringing or what actually happened to her. It's just the way, it's just immediate cognitive dissonance. It's just not, it's no deeper thought putting into how we arrive at certain things, but it's just an automatic judgment that we don't judge ourselves the same way, or you look on TV, you ever see when a more olive colored person, he might exercise more discipline with the law and get penalized for that, but then you'll see someone of a different shade be outlandishly crazy and a lot less, and it'll be a lot less restraint used with them, even in the craziest sense. Cognitive dissonance. You look at these people, you judge them like this. When you look at yourself or people that look like you judge that same act, or even something more extreme with less penalty.
Which is really tough, which would be in harmony with the title. The real corona crown virus poison, because virus is poison, right? So we know that even if we're just breaking down our title, let alone getting into the actual lesson. However, we want to make sure always when we're doing whatever, that the lesson that we're always showing is how do we come about conducting ourselves by actually operatively, not just speaking words, sounding as if we're intelligent. We're going to actually show you guys that this is an operative practice in science, that a lot of people have been thrown into correctional facilities without giving a certified statement that has been autographed and sealed, and they're being held at the cut out Hagerstown, for real. You feel me? Or they being held at any so-called correctional facility, or they down in some central booking of some sort. However, if you injured somebody physically, that is an actual crime, because in Latin, that's called creating a corpus delicti, which is an injured party, a bodily injured victim. You create a corpus delicti, then at the end of the day, you deserve the correction that is actually needed. However, what most people don't know is due to the fact, let alone if not knowing how to contract, they're not even able to really read contracts because they can pronounce the words on the surface, topically pronouncing the words. However, are they comprehending the root denotation that is being said there? For example,
real quick, I just wanted to add, that's what makes it invalid. That's what makes, once fraud is the basis of a contract, right, or of an agreement or of anything, fraud destroys the validity of everything upon which it enters. So when you were saying like, does one really comprehend that? That's the thing most of the people do not comprehend. They just go around signing things and just doing things as they're being told. And then again, that brings it back to people outsourcing their thinking. Like, oh, I don't have to learn law. I could just let these guys tell me what it is. They said I got to get a license, get a license. They say I need a registration, get a registration. They say I need insurance, get insurance. And I'm just going to do that because I realize when I do that, they stop harassing me and taking my finance, right? So, but yeah. That's. I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
No, Islam. And I can see, they have updated this, bro. Because you see when I very briefly clicked on the one that is said for here, and it actually has this. You can tell they updated because that was never there. Actually, even though what has been there, I do remember seeing this. I do remember seeing that. Because we've been coming to this website, I know myself, about 8 years. And
I've seen that wasn't in there.
Yeah, I've seen
that wasn't in there, yo.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's why I'm like, that's interesting. Because again, they have to keep the keep the law alive. Y'all remember that episode of Martin? Keep the law alive. Like, I'm just saying. However, let's actually look at Corona on its own. We're all wearing Coronas, I'm sure. However, we're all actually crowned when we are exiting our mother's womb. When they say she's crowning, when the cervix dilates 10 centimeters. And this is the crown of our head, right? So we've already been crowned. If we are not a swallow or wiping off for a hand job, we've been given all the license, which is permission, that we need to be on this planet. We need we don't need any Cruden versus Neil, as Brother R would always bring. Cruden versus Neil.
Every man is independent of all laws except those prescribed by nature.
Correct. So we've already been crowned to rule over, which means govern ourselves. To govern is to rule. Ment is mind. So to rule one's own mind without an outside entity dictating to do so. We've already had that as a birthright. The problem is that many people nowadays have to learn to love instead of hate because they come out being born natural haters, which means they're hating nature. Because their nature is to be one who is crowned with the glory in self-governing for the sake of bettering the energy on the planet. However, this has been called corny, square, geek. Oh, I don't hear that shit. You feel me? Yo, I don't hear that shit, dummy. What? But this is what you need to further expand. You feel me? However, that's corona, right? Crown. Let's look up virus, which means poison. Right. So I think the real coronavirus is cognitive dissonance. Because look how many people went and got nanobot technology injected in them under the auspices, because there was a dissonant sound called vaccination, which means it's dealing with cows.
Let's read virus real quick.
Go ahead, I yield.
Go to vaccine. We'll go to vaccine after that if you want.
Yeah, because vaccine, you're gonna have to see that vaka is dealing with cows. So they're telling the people without the people actually having the etymological cognizance. To know that they're chattel property. They're being treated as animals on a farm. That is not my belief. Believe nothing I say. Please believe nothing I say. And challenge everything that we are presenting. And try to prove it wrong. I guarantee you, one or two things is going to happen when you research things. You're either going to begin to, or continue, if you're already a truth teller, tell the truth, or you're going to keep the law. I yield.
Right.
Facts.
Virus is a noun from the late 14th century, quote unquote, poisonous substance, right? A sense now archaic from Latin virus or virus.
Virus, correct.
Quote, poison, sap of plants, slimy liquid, a potent juice, end quote. From Proto-Italic, Weiss, O-S, poison, right? Oh, that's probably again, yeah. There's no,
like we so.
Yeah, I was looking at poison. I was about to pronounce with a W, but there's no V there. Which is probably from Proto-Indo-European root "uis," perhaps originally meaning, quote, to melt away, to flow, end quote. Used of foul or malodorous, fluids, but with specialization in some languages to poisonous fluid. Source also of Sanskrit. Visam, Vinam, right? Venom, poison. Visa, poisonous. Avistan, Vish.
Oh, that make you think of Vishnu, doesn't it? But anyway, go ahead. Well, even though I'm not saying that's that, I'm just saying it should. You know how our minds do. Like, oh, click, right? But anyway, I'm not saying that Vishnu is poison. However, go ahead. I yield.
No, every time we get into Sanskrit, I think about Hindi.
Correct.
And then every time we get into Latin, I think about so-called Spanish.
Correct.
Because it's like a similar pronunciation, right?
Correct.
Poison Latin, viscum, and then it says sticky substance, bird lime, Greek eos. That's funny because that's like Dios. Wow, they just put a D on that, and that means God. And
correct.
Poison, ixios, right? They just added an X.
Hold on, may I? Because isn't iOS your iPhone's operating system? My Apple iOS. Okay, I yield. I'm just joking. However, I'm not. I yield.
Right.
You see how we're using the poison? Because I am on my iPad.
Mistletoe.
Okay, I yield. Go ahead.
Mistletoe, bird lime, old church Slavonic, Vishnija or Vishnu.
Yeah. Vishnya.
Yeah, Vishnya.
I knew it. I knew it was like a bunched up word. Cherry, Old Irish, Phi, poison, Welsh, Gui, poison.
Correct.
Right? The meaning agent that causes infectious disease emerged by 1790s gradually out of the earlier use in reference to venereal disease, venereal disease by 1728. The modern scientific use dates to the 1820s. To
1880s,
computer,
but you're good. You're good. 1880s.
To computer sense is from 1972.
Correct, like a computer virus, right? So now we're saying that the crown poison, your crown chakra, has been poisoned because of the fact that there are some inharmonious sounds that there are people knowing together.
Avalanche
so now
alive.
you have, say that again.
Avalanche of lies heaped upon us annually.
Islam. Go ahead. My apologies. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good. I was just gonna say the avalanche of lies. That's one of the causes of the cognitive dissonance.
So let me speed through chapter 9. Let's get a spoiler alert real quick. Boom. So we already see that. How is this all tying in with chapter 9? And we back here. All right, check it out. And I was still sharing. Let me come back to YouTube over here. Check the chat real quick. Let y'all know we still paying attention to y'all, whoever's here. Let's see where we at. Let me come to the page channel. Right, click on that. Actually, let me pause that. All right, cool. Let's see who's in here. All righty. Mother Sahara is still here. Our natural language is the language of nature. Mother Carmisha, peaceful greetings. Happy holy day more. She says peace and love. Appetite for life. Hey, brother Sean, Arnold Palmer. She said,
hey, yo.
Right. She says, go in then fire. And she's taking notes, man. We should be able to discern, right? Getting back to nature. Also, Mother Sahar says, and indeed, and Mother Carmisha says, y'all, what the fuck with this? Yeah, I mean, you're dropping jewels, right? And she says she's getting her life right now, right? So that's amazing. So how does this fit in here? All right, so when you look at chapter 9, like I said, is obviously a wealthy man in the hood. But for me, that's how I looked at it. As far as like, damn, it's somebody who just basically run the hood of some sort, you feel me? And he just having everybody come through for real. Hey, yo, shorty, stop sticking people up, stop scamming people. Hey, yo, stop being a hoe real quick. Come hear my man's teach. You feel me? Come hear my man's teach real quick. And so the people that came with Yeshua, right? Those, right, who followed Yeshua, right? Where it says right here, but they who followed him was much aggrieved. So this the disciples, you feel me? They like, whoa, hold up, Jesus, man. Motherfuckers is gonna be on YouTube, Instagram. You know what I mean? Look, shorty got her phone out, yo. She going live right now while you teaching for real. And you sitting next to this girl who got basically her titties on your shoulder. Let me holler at you real quick. You feel me? Let me holler at you real quick. And so they upbraided Jesus. In other words, it's like they on some like, let me see. Well, the upbraided is right there. It's funny because I must have pressed something. 2 seconds. Okay, there we go. So they upbraided them. So they basically put their hands up under, you know what I mean, Yeshua's armpit and was like, yo, come here, let me holler at you, which is very aggressive because they about to extort that man. Like, yo, you sitting here with thieves and courtesans, but what about the extortioners? But of course, somebody doing some extortion ain't gonna point out their own coronavirus, their own cognitive dissonance. You feel me? So with that being said, they said, they upbraided him and they said Rabboni. So they trying to all like flatter him. Rabboni is like teacher, master of the wise. You know what I mean? You trying to flatter me now, but you about to be on some fuck shit. I know the next thing come out your mouth now, I'm gonna be on some fuck shit because you trying to kiss my ass. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. I ain't trying to upset anybody out there. I want to put it into perspective of how I read this the first time I read it. Just gonna keep it a band with you. All right. And they like, this day will be an evil day for you. Like, what the fuck is that? Why you gonna say that to me? You're supposed to be my people.
Why you casting spells on me?
Flat out. Like, yo, you're supposed to be my peoples. Like, what's goody? Minute 6. Minute 6. The news will spread all over the internet. You're right, bro. I agree. The news will spread all over the internet that you consort with them hoes over there and minds, because man is mind. So men would be minds. And minds will shun you as they shun an asp. An asp is a snake. You would see an asp on the fairs of what they would call the ancient Egyptians at their pineal gland, which means that the Kundalini energy has rise, symbolizing the spinal fluid, washing over the medulla oblongata, which now allows them to have an activated pineal gland, no longer in a calcified state.
You know, the calcified Saturn.
Yeah, I know, right? Saturn calcifying the shit out of some people's pineal glands out there.
Saturn rules calcification.
Islam. So, and Jesus answered them. I want y'all to see these quotes. Pay attention to who's saying what, where the quotes are, and I'll make sure I'll enunciate the quotes. And Yeshua answered them and said, quote, your master never screens himself for the sake of reputation or fame. So I'm not about to sit here and not play MicBroSis because some people in the Moorish community want to try to say, look at them, they being some dirty Moors. I mean, respectfully, this is what I'm saying, man, fuck you. Flat out. Because at the end of the day, this is for all those who love Jesus. In the sense that all those that are seeking really the justice to help uplift people. Again, Ak was a wealthy man, you feel me? So how I look at it, this a dude who basically run the hood, and at the end of the day, he got the stick up boys to stop sticking motherfuckers up. The scammers ain't running credit card scams, and them hoes for just while Jesus is teaching, they not throwing that ass in a circle. I'm open for correction.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Okay. 8. These are but worthless baubles. The shit you talking to me is some bullshit. That's cat. That's what. But these are just worthless baubles of the day. That's what that is. That's cat that you talking to me.
Talking out the side of your neck.
Basically, you talking out the side of your neck. They arise and sink like empty bottles on the stream. Remember, stream is thought. So you just doing some empty thinking, and they are illusions and will pass away. So you sitting there talking about people going to talk about me on the internet and all that stuff. Well, if that's the case, then bro, like you really showing that you're not with me, yo. You're not riding with me. You're doing some fuck shit, right? So then
he peeped the projection.
Flat out. 9. They are indices. In other words, they are indices to what the thoughtless think. So you basically showing me, yo, you thoughtless. You see what I'm saying? And you paying attention to the dissonance, the noise that people make, and shallow minds that can't go deep enough judge merit by the noise. So you sitting there spouting out cognitive dissonance. Who's about to say something? I heard somebody about to say something. Go ahead, I yield. You good? That was you, Mully, about to say something. I thought you was about to say something, bro. If not, I'll go into 10.
No, I just was agreeing with everything y'all was saying.
Yeah, indeed. Islam, Allah, all balanced law, alrighty, pertaining to the zodiac. That's how I look at it. Allah is all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac, and all master minds judge minds by what they are and not by what they seem to be, not by their reputation and their fame. These hoes, as you call them, and these stick-up boys are children of my Father Allah. Father is the process which mother chooses. Allah is all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac. So these are children of my process which mother chooses to call upon all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac, but call upon is God. I just the word God not there between Father and Allah, but God means to call upon. So in other words, their soul, you see that says soul, that's singular. Mind you of the movie Avatar with the tree and how all the beings are connected by this one tree. It says their soul are just as precious in his sight as yours or of the Brahmic priests. So basically now Yeshua about to serve that ass. Watch this. And they are working out the same life sums that you have. You men who are judging them like you better than them. You men who look at them with scorn. And some of them have solved much harder sums than you have solved. You men who, you minds that want to use your thoughtlessness to scorn them. 14. Yes, they are sinners and confess their guilt, while you with your punk ass are shrewd enough to have a polished coat and cover up your guilt. 15. Suppose you minds who scorn them hoes over there, these drunkards and these stick-up boys, who know that they know that you pure in heart and life, you know what I mean? So suppose that, you know, who know that you are pure in life, that you are far better than them. You see what I'm saying? And you think you're pure in your heart and life, and you think you're better than them too? Will a real Slim Shady please stand up? That's what it means when they say stand forth, that minds may know just who you are. 16. The sin lies in the wish, in the desire, not the act. That goes back to what you are, not what you seem to be, is what the truth is. 17. You covet over people's wealth and look at charming forms, and deep within your hearts you lust for them. Therefore, deceit you practice every day, you cat. And wish for gold, for honor, and for fame, just for your selfish selves. Therefore, the mind who covets is a thief. So you are a stick-up boy just by coveting in your mind. Just because you ain't do the act don't mean that your wish and your desire isn't that of a stick-up boy. And she who lusts is a thought. So even if when you lusting in your mind, just because you ain't go out there and bust it wide open, don't mean that you're not. Because as a man, as a mind thinketh, so is he. Or so is she. But when I say he is the feminine principle in action, where she is the potential energy. She is potential. He is kinetic. But it all comes from mother. Because not one thing on this planet that's walking on two legs that calls themselves a sentient being, you came out the pussy, unless you a test tube baby, but you still had to come out of an ovary. And continuing, the man who covets is a thief. She who lusts is a courtesan. So the man who covets is a stick-up boy, and she who lusts is a thought. You who are none of these, speak out. In quotes. You see the quote is ending there. In quote. Nobody spoke. The accusers held their peace. They shut the fuck up.
Nobody.
Like Keith Sweat. And so basically, Yeshua, the fact that this is happening in front of who Ak invited Jesus. Jesus said, you know what, let me bring my peoples with me. They got my back, and showed that they are actually in the conditions of those that they're actually judging, because it take one to know one. Ooh. And Jesus said, right? Yeshua said, quote, the proof this day is all against those who have accused. The pure in heart do not accuse. The vile in heart who want to cover up their guilt with holy smoke of piety, and are ever loathing drunkards, thief, and courtesan. Damn, man, he gave you all three stamps, and you're supposed to be riding with him. This loathing and this scorn is mockery. For if the tinseled coat of reputation could be torn away from the loud professor, would be found to revel in his lust, deceit, and many forms of secret sin. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, brothers. Do I or do I not encourage us always telling the truth, no matter what?
Straight up.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, for the record.
I'm good, bro. Straight up truth.
Ain't got to hide shit. You feel me? We're not gonna screen ourselves for the sake of fame or reputation. We're gonna keep it a band with you and tell you what shit is based off our experience, not what shit seem to be. Based off of what we know, not what shit seem to be. 24. The man who spends his time in pulling other people's weeds can have no time to pull his own. And all the choicest flowers of life will soon be choked and die. And nothing will remain but darnel thistles and burrs, end quote. Right? End quote. So, and Jesus spoke a parable, right? Parable, which is meant he went around a point. When you do a parable, you take your compass, right? You take your compass. And no one knows what a compass and square is. This is a compass and square. We can see that. Y'all getting a good view of that compass and square?
Yep.
This is a compass and square. And what you do is you take this point right here and you draw a parable. And that means when Jesus is drawing a parable, he's going around the point, because here's the point. The point right here. Here's the point. But now he got to go around it in order for it to be comprehended what he's saying, because of the cognitive dissonance inside those that came with him and want to upbraid him because they worried about his reputation online. Jesus spoke a parable. He said, quote, behold, a farmer had a great field of ripened grain. And when he looked, he saw the blades of many stalks of wheat were bent and broken down. And when he sent his reapers forth, he said, now this is a singular quote. This is Jesus basically quoting with inside his story. All right, so with inside his story, he's quoting inside his story because it's the parable he's drawing to get around his point that he already made. Quote, we will not save the stalks of wheat that have the broken blades. 27, go forth and cut and burn the stalks with broken blades. 28, and after many days he went to measure up his grain, but not a kernel could be found. And then he was pissed like a mother. Where the fuck is my motherfucking wheat at? That's probably what he's thinking at that time. And then he called the harvesters and said to them, where's my grain?
But my money, harvesters.
Where my bread? Right? 30. They answered him and said, we did according to your word. He didn't recognize his own cognitive dissonance within inside himself. Now he's starving. We did according to your word. What'd you say there?
I was laughing, yeah.
Oh, it's long. We did according to your word. We gathered up and burnt the stalks with broken blades, and not a stalk was left to carry to the barn. End quote of what Jesus was actually quoting there in this parable. And Jesus said, quote, if all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac, if a law saves only those who have no broken blades, who have been perfected in his sight, who will be saved? And the accusers hung their heads in shame. Like, man, get your fucking chin out your chest and sit the fuck down and let me finish my lesson. Because that's what it is now. Then they got their chin in their chest. Look, man, pick your motherfucking head up, man. And the accusers hung their heads in shame, and Jesus went his way, which means he went back to sit down next to the thotty and the stick-up boy and the motherfucking scammers, and he sat amongst them because Ak had made a barbecue. Got everybody off the block to hear a lesson. That's what more science is to me. It's not a jail religion. It's a get right state of mind where you can go into many different aspects to get the full jewel. It's like I always make this reference to the anime called Inuyasha. Inuyasha is a Japanese anime, and I'm gonna yield my screen so Brother Aura can do what he does, because I'm telling you, I want to see how this all go together. Inuyasha is about a half human, half demon who's trying to put together all the different shards of this one jewel that's been broken up across the whole planet so he can put it together and become a full human being instead of just being half human, half demon. Because he has now, due to the jewel being broken and in shards, he's his own worst enemy because he can't control the inner demon when it's ready to come out. And he don't want to have his demon. He want to be able to have his higher self rule over his lower self. And that's what we're going through in life. All roads lead to Abraham. So if you do it through the Briyat Parashara or the Shastra, which me and Brother Aura went in on the Astro Literacy Comprehension Conference. We went in on that at the end of it in the final videos, because some people think that people near Sindh, which is the river, that's what they eventually called that land near the river Sindh, Hindustan, now termed the Republic of India. I like to say India Republic, because that prepositional phrase of means corporation, or they're actually away from, because of is a prepositional phrase that means off from, away from. So it's a republic away from India. That's what Republic of India, like United States away from America. That's how I see it. You ain't got to adopt my thing. I go to the etymology. You dig what I'm saying? So some people at Hindustan would actually read the Briyat Parashara or the Shastra, and they would actually learn the astrology to get on their path and really doing learning what they call the Vedic text, being in the Bhagavad Gita, being in the Rig Vedas. You see what I'm saying? Being in these different books they get. You can do the same thing here. Our shit has been broken up here, but this is the hub of the universe. This is the land of milk and honey. This is where everybody trying to get to, because what runs the world, I'm gonna keep it a band, Mully. Yo, I'm gonna take it back to the fact that right down the street from where my people stay is Druid Hill Park. Yo, that is the hub, yo. Remember, Emmanuel Ben Ali, who they call Benjamin Banneker, the museum is out near Howard County Corporation. They should let you know where we really at, bro. Where everybody really want to be is near that. You even want to be near the Philly Corporation or near the Baltimore Corporation. Because that's where the energy that's running this planet is, if you're not near the Chicago Corporation. However, if the people have cognitive dissonance, they're going to keep getting their ass whipped, not by somebody physically, by the fact that they keep attracting an energy by their own crown poisoning. You got to go, bro.
Oh no, I was saying that to Brother R in the chat.
Oh, all right, it's all right. I know I saw it. I saw the 5 on the left, 2 on the right. I was about to say, hold up. All right, but because I didn't know if I missed it. No, but you good. So by our own crown poisoning, we attracting the energy that's allowing us all over the planet to not only live in dissonance, but the dissonance is what it is because together we are knowing sounds that are inharmonious. I'm a black man. Look at the word black. You're saying you're a pale man. Let me ask you a question then. Or you're a pale woman. Let me ask you a question, pale man, pale woman. Are you pale when you look in the mirror? Hell no, I ain't pale. No, motherfucker, I ain't pale. Okay, so you subscribe to that word. Why? Well, shit, that's what they call us. Who's the they? Now, what do you think? Do you see what I'm saying? This is not them Moors thinking the Moors want you. No, the Moors don't want you to. Don't believe. Did I say this already? I don't know. Let me see if I said this. Don't believe anything I say. Challenge what I say. Try to prove it wrong. And when you prove it right, teach your loved ones. If you think it's something I missed, share it with me because we're open to that. However, what we're no longer going to tolerate is people that have on fezzes, but they got their tassel pinned down at 33 degrees. There is 360 here for us and 360 here for us. We're at least 720. And it flows freely. All righty. So we didn't swear an oath of death. We didn't swear a death oath. I'm not going to say anything because I went into this situation with this fraternal order and they did this to me so that I can be quiet. That don't exist for us. So we're not going to stop exercising free speech and pressing it to our own free national press, so that we are not somebody great in your eyes. Nah, man, this shit yours. However, use it appropriately so you don't keep perpetuating the oppression that you try and get out of, for real. I yield, Brother Aura. Any comments, questions, and or suggestions before Brother Aura go in? Because all this is going to come together. I mean, I can see what comments we got in here. Mother Delilah, peaceful greetings to you, beloved mother. I'm just looking at my phone. I told you, right? Let me take this off real quick. But I know y'all can see the chat behind me too on the projector right here, for real. All right. I just looked at my phone, Mother Delilah, and I saw you in this. I don't know how long ago you made that comment right there. And you said you here. But shout out to Mother Delilah Passayal. That's one of the mothers that made sure I had a lot of the knowledge that I have. Her, Brother Tariq Bey, Mother Rashida Bey. These are elders that made sure I had what I have. And shout out again to Mother Ras Mariah V. Bey, who has our V. Bey publication, because a lot of us been given the same knowledge. However, not everybody did what we do at Seven Hill Stars. Some people tried to make a leader out of themselves and have groups to do things. I ain't talking bad about none of y'all. However, we can see you. You see what I'm saying? Straighten up, yo. Get yourself right, for real. You feel me? Like, this ain't a pimp hoe thing. This ain't no jail religion. So if you're out the West Coast and you learned it a certain way, cut the pimp hoe shit out. Get right. You on the East Coast and you think you need to learn it because, well, shit, you know what I mean? I was in the joint and you know my man's told me about the science. So calm the fuck down. All right, chill that out. You know what I mean? Chill that out, homie. And get the cognitive. Get the cognitive resonance, not the cognitive dissonance. We can't deal with that. All right. Mother Delilah says, Islam, I am here also. We appreciate you, Mother Delilah. Right. Mother Carmisha says, they said we gonna get you high today. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. Yes, your higher self. Absolutely. Mother Sahar said, as a man thinketh, right? Mother Carmisha says parable is giving big cancer energy. You're hilarious, right? Shout out to all zodiac signs, but yeah, that's a Cancer sister of ours. And Mother Delilah just posted, been here for more than an hour. Indeed. Yeah, we appreciate you, Mother Delilah. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna keep checking the chat. Brother Aura's about to go in and see how the cognitive dissonance, you know what I'm saying, how we going to assist. All we doing is demonstrating what you can do. Please don't be intimidated. Please don't. I know I got a lot of energy with how I present, for real. I love our people on this planet because actually those that are here at the North Gate, at a Mexum, termed contemporarily North America. The whole Western Hemisphere is America, North, Central, and South. That's it. And that means that the Moorish nation is actually not just made up of the copper tone people. It's actually made up of our sons and daughters that we grafted from mixing our genes with the chimpanzee, and that is the pale skin. However, since we were out of order in how we did that experiment, the only so-called quote unquote child support was ceding appropriate land. So when people say, oh, the so-called white people or the Europeans, they're not even from Europe. That's not where it happened. The experiments happened at Patagonia, and I'm not talking about expensive camping gear. The experiment happened at Patagonia, which is known as Argentina. And then we ceded land because we were using these beings as slaves. So the actual original slaves, the Slavs, the original Black people, which are the pale skins, are the pale skins. So when you think, damn, yo, they doing this to us, we fuck, man, they fucking us over, man, we gotta do something about the racism. First of all, you put them in slavery first. You out of order. You put them there first. When it was supposed to just been, we needed lighter bodies to try to put our consciousness in. So when you see movies on Netflix or shows on Netflix about transferring consciousness, we've been doing that shit for years, for centuries, because we were going through certain portions pertaining to the galaxy. And so certain energies that are happening on the planet, which we was like, all right, we see this coming. We need to put our consciousnesses in here. So that's why some Albions that come here, you try to figure out, like, it's funny because I know back near the Heights, right? We got a cat that was raised near the Heights, you know, a pale skin brother. We call him C's, Curtis. Man, you hear Curtis talk, you hear Curtis speak, yo, you close your eyes, yo, you're gonna be like, open, you're like, yo, that's a pale skin talking, because he sound like us. But he was raised since he was little around the Heights, bro, right around Park Heights. You feel me? So at the end of the day, that could say that maybe, just maybe in a past life, he was one of those who consciousness transferred in that form, because your body is just I remember Damien Jr. Gong Marley has a song called The Book of Life. And he's like, the body's just a vehicle transporting the soul. Is what's inside of people. There's beauty to behold. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's really what it is. However, I'm off my soapbox. I yield from pontificating about Islam to you all. I yield, brother Aura.
Islam, bro. And I won't keep the people too much longer on this holy day. I just got bringing up a couple concepts. This right here is with regard to fraud as a maxim. So I just thought this is something important that people might want to ponder here. Entry is from October 2nd, 2019. And it's just going over a couple references with regard to fraud as a maxim, right? Fraud vitiates everything, legal maxim, right? Fraud vitiates everything, so it invalidates everything. Is a legal maxim. If a contract was entered into on the basis of a fraud, the contract can be declared null and void.
Correct. Void ab initio in the Latin. Void at its inception. Just adding to your wisdom. I yield.
Indeed. Fraud could vitiate every contract. Was printed in the Gazette of the United States, Philadelphia, PA, Pennsylvania, on January 30th, 1793. Quote, fraud would vitiate any transaction, end quote. That makes me think about, like, when you go to the registers and they're doing fraud at the grocery store or at any store you go to. That's fraud right there. Fraud would vitiate any transaction. Was printed in the Evening Mail, London, UK, on February 29, 1796. Quote, but I consider it as a universal principle that fraud vitiates every contract. Was printed in the Aurora General Advertiser, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on October 16, 1804. And these are references anybody could look up, right?
Correct.
It is a maxim of British jurisprudence that fraud vitiates everything. And again, vitiates is just invalidates, right? Makes invalid, right?
Makes it invalid, correct.
Was printed in the Freeman's Journal, Dublin, Ireland, on October 13, 1838. In the eye of the law, fraud vitiates everything it touches. Was printed in the Indiana, Pennsylvania Democrat on April 15, 1869. This is I'm gonna skip through some of these and get to some of these case laws.
Islam, can you also, before you go, when people need to defend themselves, I know we was going to try to get a little bit into 42 United States Code 1983 as far as the foundation of that, so how people can really start paying attention to how to sue. However, we also brought up 18 United States Code 241 and 242 as far as when people practice color of law. I really want you to make that point too, but if that's too much, I know we got Sunday to go in on.
No, yeah, I'm definitely going to touch on that because we have in the chat in Zoom, I have the other case law. These were what's in the Zoom chat is basically what I was going to go over real quick. So here's the case law: Boyce's Executors versus Grundy, 1830s case, right? 28 U.S. 210. So U.S. is abbreviation. That's letting you know it's actually United States Supreme Court case, right? Fraud destroys the validity of everything into which it enters. Fraud vitiates the most solemn contracts, documents, and even judgments. That's United States versus Throckmorton, right? And then we could go over here real quick, right?
Fraud has no statute of limitations also.
As well, yeah, that's true. All right, yeah, I wanted to look at this. Can you guys see the chat right now?
Correct.
Okay, so you see Williamson versus Berry. The reason I'm bringing this up is because some people believe that you must operate the way that they believe so because they've outsourced their thinking in regards to law, in regards to what is the law, what is not the law, and they're being told by certain de facto government agents, right, who quote unquote enforce law, but they really enforce corporate policy. They're being told that, you know, what is law and what is not law, when many of their practices are actually unlawful. And what they're doing is converting the people's unalienable rights, converting their birthrights, right? Things which their rights which they have at birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're converting it into something like if the government is allowing you to exercise that right. Right. But they're not calling it a right. So this is so people know, like, just because they're saying this or they're acting like they got this authority or they're holding this title or, you know, they seem to be, you know, some type of standard or whatever when it comes to what is right or what is wrong with regards to law, they are wrong most of the time. And you see that when you study law and you see cases getting reversed, right? They were actually operating the law this way for a certain amount of time. 20 years later, they reversed the case. This right here says Williamson versus Berry courts are constituted by authority, and they cannot go beyond that power delegated to them.
Jesus. That's some drop mic shit right there. In other words, you can't sit here and go outside the bounds that is already. Can you play basketball from the stands? Can you sit there like, yo, I'm just gonna run over here out of bounds real quick and just shoot the J from there? No. We're blowing the whistle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if they, so then it specifies what takes place if they act beyond that authority, and certainly in contravention, right? Because if you're going beyond that, you're already in contravention of it. And certainly in contravention of it, their judgments and orders are regarded as nullities.
Mm-hmm.
Some people saying, oh, what about if they put out a warrant for you? Well, hold on. If I'm telling you that a cop made a claim on a piece of paper, but he never signed it, which means there is no complaining witness. There is no complainant. But then this alleged complaint with no signature on it is turned into some court, somewhat claiming to be a court, and the clerk actually files that and allows a case to be open and set for calendar, and then the so-called judge looks at the right, because the complaint is supposed to initiate the case. So the judge will look at the complaint and see that there's no signature, there's nothing under penalty of perjury, and they're continuing, and they're sending out summonses and you know, they're just simulating all of this legal process. Are these people to issue a warrant for any reason with regard to a matter that was actually quote unquote initiated in that sense? No. If they issue out a warrant on a case where there's not even a signature from the complainant, so there is no complainant, or better yet, when they don't even have a complaint, they don't have a piece of paper filed with the court. It's just lingering in their office, but it's never filed onto the record with the court. When they do that, they're going beyond that power delegated to them. And if they act beyond that authority and certainly in contravention of it, their judgments and orders are regarded as nullities. They are not voidable, but simply void.
Jesus Christ, which means it's cap, it's bullshit,
and it's void even before
process. I just wanted to ask: would that be simulating process?
Absolutely, it's legal simulation or simulation of legal process. Different states term it differently, but it's all the same thing. They're pretending to go through legal procedures to go through due process of law when they're actually denying due process of law, and they're doing summary judgments where they're just making decisions where they're allowing hearsay on the record. The whole record is not even really a record. There's, they just let someone come in, talk, make accusations, and then tell the other side, you got these options.
Come and talk to me. Not without a contract.
And don't forget.
Without a contract. Can you talk to me? Do you got a contract? No? Then I don't want to talk to you.
Real talk. Hey, I'll never forget when it was like I was in the Tribune. This is when I used to show up, right? I don't go to these venues called courts anymore. I don't show up.
Islam.
I have no obligation to. However, when I remember I went one time and they were like, oh yeah, they tried to give me this blue paper, right? I don't know why it's blue, but this is the form that they want you to fill out so the public defender can represent you. And I'm like, no, I'm not entering into any contracts with the public defender's office. And they're like, oh, you have to do it. I was like, I don't have to do anything. You can't force me to fill this out, or it would make it it would void it ab initio just by you telling me I have to do it. And he goes, well, the judge is going to tell you the same thing. Well, I would love to hear her say that, right? Of course she didn't bring it up, but
correct. She can't because hold on. Can I ask you a question? This personal question.
Yeah.
Do you have a contract or an oath of office that says that you're working within a foreign trade zone within the on federal land? I'm just curious. Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
So wouldn't you need a contract and the oath of office that says that you're doing business at the pleasure of the governor? Because trade or business, according to 26 United States Code 7701 H2C1, means that you are performing functions of public office in a foreign trade zone on federal land at the pleasure of the governor. I just want to make sure.
I would say absolutely, because according to Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, Clause 14, the government, Congress, who's supposedly making these laws, these statutes that these people are claiming to enforce on everyone, they can only make those rules and regulations for the government and the land and naval forces. So I would presume they're thinking I work for the government and they're calling me to their venue. They're inviting me to their venue as an internal issue, like, hey, we're all working together and you're getting out of line. It's like, hey, I don't work with you guys. I don't work for you guys. I don't work for any other agency that's tied to you guys. I'm not part of them franchise boys, right?
Lean with it, rock. Yep. Well, anyway,
so I'm not a U.S. citizen, which is deemed to be let's see. What did it say? U.S. citizens.
Mm-hmm. U.S. citizens are franchise. Franchise property of the United States. I'm a citizen. Yeah, I'm a citizen of this city, in this county, of this state. You don't sit your dumb ass down. Sounding all extra like this is an experience we had. I'm not saying anybody out there that doesn't know or anything like that. I'm not calling you a dumbass. I'm saying that we just recently had a conversation where we were very kind. However, the cognitive dissonance, we had to, you know how when you speak to someone kindly and they don't really listen until you start saying, look, you punk motherfucker, and then they be like, I'm listening now. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those experiences. However, at the end of the day, that's not what we prefer to do. However, what we realized was how it was actually what the situation called for in that moment was reflectionary. So me being a triple water trinity, I have a sun and ascendant in Cancer, moon in Scorpio. However, according to the fourth level, which is the midheaven, that's in Pisces. So when it comes to watery things, you bring me something, I know exactly how to wash it right back to you. I'm like a mirror. That's what Brother Tariq Bey called me. He's like, Hasan, you're a mirror. Like that, because what I'll do is I'll reflect your energies back to you and see if you can take it. Once I see you can't take it, then I'll ask a question. Can we go back to being civilized now? I yield.
Yep.
We were looking for the United States Code where the United States citizens are French. Oh, you got it.
Yeah. So let me kind of like go to skim through this real quick. Look, it talks about the Buck Act right here, which I thought was funny. I just seen that. As soon as we pop this up, that's the first thing we see. Look, the story of the Buck Act. And then we'll just go back to the last paragraph where it says number 2, the Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property belonging to the United States. Right, not the property belonging to the people. And nothing in the Constitution shall be so construed as to prejudice any claims of the United States or of any particular state. Therefore, all U.S. citizens, i.e. franchise citizens of the District of Columbia.
The Bank of Columbia.
Because remember the seat of government used to be Philadelphia. They moved the seat of government. It
technically still is, but go ahead, I yield.
Right. Well, I'm saying as far as like the occupation, which is basically how would you say the de facto government that is acting like they're de jure, holding these processes. There's these lack of due process hearings in these venues. They lease these buildings or rent these buildings, and then they pretend as government, and they do everything like backwards. And then when you try to hold them accountable, they act like they don't know what the Constitution is that they took an oath to. It says, therefore, all U.S. citizens, i.e. franchise citizens of the District of Columbia residing in one of the states of the Union are classified as property as franchisees of the federal government as an individual entity.
Hold on, I have an emotional outburst question. So does that mean anyone calling themselves a U.S. citizen without a contract, oath of office, and a certified statement saying that they're doing trade and business at the pleasure of the governor, that they're actually committing a fraud, let's just say that, which actually, it vitiates everything. However, they are actually breaking the law and acting in a fiduciary capacity to say that they're a federal agent? How many people you think out there are doing that?
I think that's almost everyone, because no one's actually, this goes back to the people actually not knowing what they're signing and what they're doing. They're thinking, they've outsourced their thinking with regard to the law. So they're just being told, oh yeah, you want to have a business, you want to do this, well, you got to go file this paper and file this paper. And if you're doing this type of business, LLC, LTD, or you're doing a sole proprietorship, just make sure you file this and make sure you pay this annual tax and make sure you do your annual registration and make sure you do this. And really what they're doing is they're just milking these people and getting the taxes from them and using them and their industriousness for the betterment of the overthrown nation that is operating as a de facto government, which is actually a corporation. They're doing business on the land, and they're turning everything into and they're commercializing everything, because that's the only thing that they can govern. So they have to commercialize everything because Congress has the power to regulate commerce, and they know that they're limited to that and their own agents. So they got to get you to somehow operate as an agent, but without you knowing that, because then it would be, you probably wouldn't want to do it actually.
So how many people do we think have been threatened that they're going to lose their job, right? You lose their job if they don't participate in the cognitive dissonance, which is the actual coronavirus, and have nanobot technology injected into them under the auspices of a vaccination.
That was only supposed to apply to agents, but a lot of people went and did that.
Correct.
And they did that through the propaganda of the news. That's the
correct. They did it through their press.
The avalanche of lies. I said the heap of lies, but that was my mistake. I meant to say the avalanche of lies. Heaped upon it. Right. Then it goes on to say, and as an individual entity, that's Wheeling Steel. I thought it was Wheeling Steel Corp versus Fox under the Buck Act for USC section 105-113. So 105 through 113. The federal government has created a federal area within the boundaries of all the several states. That's the fictitious borders that you know as the several states.
So
within
hold
those
on, question.
boundaries.
So that then when they say a federal area would be like, I don't know, a building only.
A post office.
Okay, excellent. I yield.
Yeah. When you're in a parking lot or on the sidewalks or inside of the building at a post office, you're in a federal area. Those are federal mailmen and them. They're federal agents, believe it or not. Mailman don't even got a license plate on his mail truck. Go peep that next time.
Correct. However, what if you're at the park?
Well, it depends what type of park, but still.
Like, let's say it's not a national park, because I know they'll try to say national parks and stuff like that. But let's just say it's like, oh, look, there's a sliding board and some swings to take my children to. That's not a federal area. Is it a federal area?
No, it's not. It's not a federal area.
Got you. So hold on. What if you just wanted to go outside with a soccer ball and kick a few goals, or go outside on the field and throw the football? Would that be a federal area?
Well, it depends. Is that field being used to carry out the business of the national government?
No, it's just like, hey, me and my buddies want to throw the skin around, or we just want to go down and hoop at Green Spring, you know what I mean, and do some pickup, play some 50 or something, you know what I mean, down at Green Spring. Is that a federal area?
No, you're on the land, just like the animals are on the land in that sense.
Got you.
Just on the land. And so wait, that's the thing. When you bring that up, are you there? If you're not there, then they don't have say-so there.
Correct. Because then wouldn't we have to be, I don't know if I asked this question already, even though we hoop in and they will be like, oh, you're in a federal area, so you got to be charged this way. Wouldn't we have to produce the contract, oath of office, and the license and the certified statement that says that we agreed to do trade or business at the pleasure of the governor, or no?
First, who's charging with what? What are they using to charge? And who do they think they're charging? Because if what they're using to charge can only be used for certain persons, and you happen to not be that type of person, and happen to not be that type of person on the clock, which is basically during performing the functions of their public office. Like if you say I use this car, 50% of this car to perform the functions of public office, which is engaging in trade or business, because all business commerce that's being done is being regulated by the government, and then they're regulating all of that, because you guys don't know how to do your private business. All you know how to do is do your public business. So you register your stuff on the public record, and then you do everything according to what they say. Even if they're regulating you that in that sense. For example, can the government?
So then they're regulating a statutory person then at that point, not just the regular common people wanting to enjoy some recreation.
Yes, but my point, but the point I was going to make is that when Walmart employees close the doors and stuff, they don't have no say so over the CEO or the manager or even a regular employee of that store, even though they're probably a franchisee for the United States. That's why they're paying their taxes and following their rules and stuff. Once they clock out and leave Walmart, they're not operating as an agent anymore.
Correct, because they're no longer in the Walmart zone or the Walmart area.
So if the Walmart employee was playing at the park, how the hell can the supervisor from Walmart tell him how he's supposed to throw the football on the field at the park? Like, he has no jurisdiction there. It's the same thing with the United States government, because the government is only the seat of government in places purchased. That's where they exercise their jurisdiction, their acts, their legislation, their so-called statutes that they're claiming that they can enforce on people. They can enforce them on persons who are part of their administration, and they can only enforce them on them when they're on the clock. You see what I'm saying?
Islam. And Mother Delilah wanted to add to your wisdom in the chat. Law always gives remedy. Corporations cannot own land. I yield.
They can't own land, and they can't own any property, and they can't hold. The only properties that corporations can own or hold is the property that they're using to carry out their business basically. So McDonald's can buy another building to open up another McDonald's. McDonald's cannot buy an apartment complex and start charging people rent. They can't do that. That's
Correct.
operating. That's like they're not organized to operate that way. All corporations have their bylaws and their articles of incorporation or whatnot, depending on where they're organized at and how the regulations regulate the type of organization that they start. So the whole thing is that all of these corporations are the same thing. None of it, they can't. The reason they can't get the apartment building and rent it out is because they will be performing two different professions. Like if you're a motor shop, you work on motors, you can't send your guys out to go clean pools. You're operating two businesses out of one. You got to do a whole different business. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
That's like when it comes to the way they're organized for the United States or for the states. So therefore, the United States is actually similar in the sense that the United States cannot own certain properties or actually even enforce legislation or statutes in certain areas. They can only do it over their corporate ties, their franchise areas. That's why they try to incorporate everyone and all property so that they can claim they have jurisdiction everywhere.
Islam.
And I yield.
Islam, man. It's bro. Yo, I know there's so much more we can do. I guess if you yield, man, we're just going to sit here and ask. We're going to ask. I know we got to do our invocation now, which means I think our brother R, since you went number 2, you got number 4, which is the invocation out. So I know you'll be doing that. I just want to ask a simple question to our very special, open-minded, open-hearted guest. It was just been real. I mean, man, you've added so much, Mully. You know what I'm saying? If you're there, bro, just wanted to know any questions, comments, and/or suggestions for us, Mully. Questions, comments, and/or suggestions. I see the fan right there. Now. We good? Questions, comments, and/or suggestions. I guess there's no questions, comments, and suggestions. No, it's all good because I know we went in on this thing, man, and I wanted us to really, share what it is that's here so that what we can actually do is, like I said, extend the courtesy as Mully has extended to 7 Hill Star on multiple occasions every Wednesday at 9:15 Eastern, right? So we were just asking you, Mully, like straight up, bro, like what is, if you had anything to add to it, bro, anything to add to it as far as what we shared, you know what I mean? You can get the final word before we do our invocation out and in the live. And Mother Delilah says, but they still need a delegation of authority. Exactly, Mother Delilah. That's why I said we're going to do our Astro Civic Sunday coming up. And I and Brother R going to go in on this Sunday. So in 2 more days, you'll see I and Brother R again, and anybody else that wants to show up. But Mully, I know we went on a lot, bro. I want you to let me know if there's any questions, comments, and/or suggestions, bro. You can make any comment, question, or suggestion right now. You can further let people know where they can hear more of you and Nick Styles, hear MicBroSis, all of that, man.
Hey, man. Hey, thank you. I just want to say first and foremost, thank you for having me, tonight, man, and showing me the love that, that on my platform, we have, the same amount of great conversation and great community building convo. This was awesome, man. I enjoyed it, learned a lot. I love the way y'all break down with etymology. It's that gives you more, that helps you understand certain jargon and words better, knowing the history of the word, where it comes from. It, you can kind of see the history of a word while looking at the current word, where it actually comes from. That's powerful, looking at words like that. And then just, learning, the topic itself for the night, coronavirus, when I really looked at the word that it means, crown, poison of the crown. While I was talking, it was crazy because I was like, the war is for your mind and your gut. Like I literally said that before you even got to coronavirus. So I was like, when you got to the poisoning of the crown, I was like, wow, like man, it's like, we was all tired of
Well, and what you just said, because I how you saying that the gut and the mind are connected and the brain are connected, right? And how we say the crown is up here. When you come out the womb, you get crowned. So, but what crowned you was the womb, which is going back to the near the gut. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see, so it's like it comes back full circle as always.
Yeah, and then bro, tied in with the pharaoh and the solar.
Yeah, that was very impromptu.
Yeah, this was a great build, and I appreciate y'all, man. Infinite gratitude. And that's, I guess, and if anyone that's looking to find MicBroSis, which is me, Mullyman, and my sister Nick Styles, you can find us on we're on all the musical platforms, which is like Apple Music and Tidal and different all the main digital platforms, and just type in MicBroSis, MicBroSis. Once again, that's MicBroSis. And the name of the album is Godspeed, and that basically it's an album that we put together with about, I think, 27 songs, and it's just basically based on everything happening at its that's my sister right there, Nick Styles. That's me, Mullyman. And actually the whole project is really affirmations and lessons, but made it's to the average person listening to it, it's not going to sound over preachy as they're listening to it, but they're getting a lot of affirmations in there and a lot of dope life lessons in there through that project.
That's what's up, bro.
Indeed. Just wanted to show that while you were saying that. Go ahead, I yield, man. We're gonna close out soon. Go ahead, I do you, bro.
And before we yield, because I think we don't show this enough. I guess I'm gonna show this too, just for to dispel some of the cognitive dissonance, right? This is the Constitution. This one particularly is a copy from rvbaypublications.com. You see here, it's only 10 pages, right? See this 9, 10, right? 10 Bill of Rights. So real quick, because we keep saying that the statutes only apply to federal agents, right?
Correct.
And we're going to show you. Article 1 is dealing with Congress. You see Article 1, Section 1, it says, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States, which shall consist of the Senate and House.
Can you landscape?
Yeah, landscape. I was thinking that same thing. It sounded like landscape.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. So you see, is the Constitution for the United States of America, North Continent, presented in 1787, ratified 1791. Preamble: we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of blood sacrifices or blood sheddings, right? Offerings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So when you look at Article 1, it's dealing with Congress, the legislative body, because the first few sections tell you that all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States and shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Then it tells you right here who puts these people in their offices, right? People, right? And then you go down to 8, right? This is very important. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts, right?
To pay the debts.
The Congress. Who's paying the debts?
Congress.
Congress.
And provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States, but all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. And then it gives you 17 bullet point reasons why they're laying duties, imposts, excises, and and so on and so forth, right? Why they're collecting
Right.
tax, imposts, and excises. So 1, to borrow money on the credit of the United States. 2, to regulate commerce. Keep telling you that they regulate commerce. Well, who do they regulate it with? With foreign nations and among the several states and within the Indian tribes. Why? Those are franchisees of the federal government. But when it talks about foreign nations, I want this to be clear. I want this to be very clear. They don't regulate China's commerce, but they regulate how they're going to do business with China. So that this is going to regulate how their several states and how their Indian tribes and how any one of their franchisees, if they even engage in any type of commerce with foreign nations, they're going to regulate how that's going to happen. They're not regulating other nations' commerce. They don't regulate when it says foreign nation. That's not what it means. But I want to jump down here, right here, to number 14. To make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. Do you work for the government? Do you work for the land and naval forces?
No.
If you don't, they do not make rules for you. Nowhere here, nowhere. If you read all, we're not going to go through all of them today, but nowhere in here does it say they can make rules for the people. The only time you even see people is in the preamble when it says they're the ones who select the representatives, and then it says, then the next time you see people is all the way at the end in the so-called amendments, Bill of Rights.
5 times, twice in the articles, 5 times, right, in the Bill of Rights, right?
Correct. People only pops up 7 times. No. One, let me see. Once in the preamble.
Once in Article 1, Section 1.
Once in Article 1, Section 1, and then you don't see people again until you get to where it's talking about the people's rights.
Which is 5 more times, correct?
Correct. The people right here. The right of the people, not the right of the persons. In statutory law dealing with the states, they always refer to persons, not people.
Correct.
And people's over here a couple more times. See it right here. Right, you see it right here. Anyways, going back to Article 1, right, just to wrap this all up, you will see Section 8, Clause 14. They also have, I guess right here it says, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, right? To coin money, not print private commercial paper, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin and fix a standard of weights and measures, to provide for punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States. Nowhere does it look to constitute tribunals here, but nowhere does it say that they make rules for the people. The only
ever
it says they make rules is right here, and it says something about captures, the captures clause. Remember? Let's see. To define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas, and of the offenses of the laws of nations. That's dealing with international law. That's dealing with maritime law. That's dealing with that's pretty much it. And then right here, to maintain a navy and make rules. So this is where we're talking about when we say, are you a federal agent? Because Congress has no authority to make laws for the natural people who are just living their life outside of these federal areas, outside of performing functions of a public office.
Mother Delilah Pasayel adds to your wisdom in the chat and says that document, she's referring to the Constitution, what you're going over there, right? Was meant to protect, and I'm going to say is meant to protect, preserve, and secure our unalienable and inalienable rights. I yield.
And that's why Noble Drew Ali said to enforce it.
Islam.
Islam. So, I mean, once you know, everything in here is for persons, except for when it talks about the people, which is only talking about their rights. Because this document regulates government. It doesn't regulate the people.
Correct.
The only thing it even says about the people is about the rights that the people have. And the only thing it says about the government is how they're going to be regulated, how they're going to do business, what authority they have, what, you know what I mean? Like this is the main document that sets the standard for how anyone who's claiming to be government is to be operating. It sets the standard. It's the foundation. If our people can say they read all these metaphysical books, 300 pages, whatever they want to say, but if they don't know this 10-page document right here, and they don't see the joinders to the state and municipal level, there's a probability that they're going to get played by these people who are claiming to be government.
Islam, because what you just said there is the federal, right? Those beings on that level, which is above the state level, are controlled by the people. And the persons are those actual entities, corporations, firms, whatever. Like near the Maryland State Republic is called the DLLR, the Department of Labor, License and Regulation. When people go and apply to be regulated by the state of Maryland, so to speak, quote unquote, boom shakalaka, tick-tocka, don't stop her. Now you have a federal regulated agency. However, you can have these things without putting yourself there. Actually, it's a voluntary thing that you're doing. However, we're gonna let Brother Aura, I want you to, what we're gonna do on Sunday, you're gonna kick it off on a lesson, and you already know what I intend to do is go in on what was put in on the Moorish Nation public record. You feel me? So that, you know what I mean, we can even out the energy where you actually, you know what I mean, kick off the lesson first on Sunday, and then, you know what I mean, I'll close out. Because I know we have much more planned, sort of, kind of, but the impromptu improv goes how it goes. It's impromptu. And I just got that spark for chapter 9. However, I know we wanted to go over 18 USC 241 and 242. We're going to do that Astro Civic Sunday. I'll squeeze that in once you give your presentation on Sunday for Astro Civic Sunday. All righty. And guys, again, go and check out, first and foremost, Brother Muhammad Bey, right? I know I made a playlist on 7 Heel Star. However, you can go to Paragon RICO, PARAGON RICO, right? Go to Paragon RICO to check out the music there, right? If you check out the music there, Paragon RICO, you will be able to hear everything that the brother is creating based on the things that we're even talking about. So, you know, our lessons are soundtracks, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like they are technically soundtracked. All right, it's not a game. There's the Paragon RICO page there. Make sure you guys go to Paragon RICO and subscribe there as well.
I was gonna say you should take us out with Crown them when you're done.
Take them out with Crown them. Okay, so let's do the invocation out, and then we'll do Crown them on the way out. And then, as a matter of fact, and let me cue that again, guys. Go to Mullyman. Also, go to Mullyman, MULLYMAN, on all major platforms. Actually, check out MicBroSis. Type in MicBroSis so that you can see the dynamic duo that is Mullyman and Nick Styles. All right. Again, shout out to Mother Nick Styles. All righty, and check out that joint. Some of that I really like some of that. Like seriously, that's why when I heard it to do the promo for Wednesdays, Mully and Marco show, I just thought it was so apropos for the energy that Mully always brings. All righty, like he's always bringing that uplifting vibration when he's presenting. Especially, you really get to enjoy it, not just in the music. However, you will also get to enjoy it every Wednesday at 2115, okay, 2100 hours and 15 minutes Eastern, or 9:15 post meridian Eastern. All righty, so 9:15 p.m. every Wednesday. You guys will get a good hour. That's what it's scheduled for. Sometimes it's an hour and a half. You see what I'm saying? Of the Mully and Marco show. Again, shout out to Brother Marco also. And so what I'm going to do here, I will cue Paragon RICO.
Shout out to you, Mully. Hey, honors to you, Mully, for even hanging out through the whole impromptu improv. You know what I mean?
Very brave.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, y'all, my bro.
You know how I can get.
This was
We go in.
show. This was an awesome show. I love the way y'all have it formatted, put together, the way that y'all synergy, the way y'all flow with the topic, and the way y'all break things down. Because a lot of times when people are teaching or showing things, they don't really break it down to let you know the history behind it or for you to get deeper understanding. So yeah, I think y'all have a great format with this show.
Thank you, broski, doski. We appreciate you guys. We're going to do our invocation now. So let me stop the screen share for right now. Do our invocation now. Brother R is going to lead us in the invocation out. Again, you can extend all 5 appendages on the left hand. Just your index and middle on the right hand. You're going to stand firmly on your square. We're going to face east, which is symbolic of going within. Brother R is going to do the invocation now, and then I'm going to share my screen again and go on out with Crown 'em. When Crown 'em is complete, I'm just going to say my Islams, peace and loves, and I'm going to end the live broadcast, guys. You already know what I'm going to do, and plus tomorrow is Saturday, so you guys are about to see a lot of posting on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook pertaining to this particular presentation, as well as you guys know every Saturday we do Astrology Street, which is the puppet workshop for astrology that, you know, you guys already know, all the voices of the puppets doing the astrology there. However, we have some special guests that joined us for the first cycle. Eventually, we'll be bringing the second cycle for Astrology Street. However, every Saturday, we're always promoting that so that the mothers and fathers can get with their children and learn astrology that way. So we're not just doing this for the grown mothers and sons. We also have Astrology Street that really will bring everybody together. However, it's there for the interest pertaining to the children. I made all the puppets, I'm all the voices, and I was holding this iPhone 6S. Shout out to Mother Delilah Pascal. You guys will see when the sun enters Aquarius, you guys will see Mother Delilah Pascal. I did all of Astrology Street with this iPhone 6S in my left hand, and I had the puppets on my right. Let's go keep it a band with y'all, right? Mother Delilah Pascal and Brother Tariq Bey are in the Aquarius webisode. So there are special guests throughout each episode that we did for that. So with that being said, guys, you already know when I get off of this, go and holler at my baby, right? I'm going to kick it with my baby for a bit, but then I already know I'm about to get online and do a whole bunch of posting. So with that being said, let's do our invocation out with Brother R. Muwaba Bey, 5 on the left, 2 on the right. We yield the floor to you, Brother R. Islam.
Islam, repeat after me if you participate. Allah, Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night and by day.
By night and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen. Shout out again to our beloved guest in whom we're well pleased, and our broski doski Mullyman. Thank you again, bro, for as always, man, the energy that you bring, man. I guarantee you that we are going to always promote that uplifting vibe. So guys, again, every Wednesday, check out the Mully and Marco show at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Adjust your time zones accordingly. That'll be 8:15 Central, and that will be 6:15 Pacific, all right? So here we go. We're going to go out with Crown 'em, and after Crown 'em is complete, we're going to say our Islams to you all and our peace and love, and look forward to those posts via TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook from probably me, Aura, and Brother Sean, because we be going in. So there we go.
It's getting serious on this track, fam.
Yeah. Starts in the womb. I don't give a damn what they said. We the truth, too stern. We ain't scared of the feds. Look at folks still laying in the bed. Mama take that young son and put a fez on his head. Crown him, yeah, king. Crown him, yeah, crown him. If we ain't building, then we drowning. I don't give a damn what they said. We the truth, still know, but we ain't scared. Look at mama with her memory back. I guarantee she'll bring the remedy, facts.
Look at mama with her memory back. I guarantee she'll bring the remedy. Facts. Yo, what is that? More scarves. These are not imported, these are ours. Who is that? That's the prophet. Put them at the forefront, they can't stop us. But they will murder for control. Only unity will hold up against the evil growth. I can tell you wanna know how the few can roll the most. Give you fuel to lead your own. Tell the people what it is. We ain't sugarcoat shit. Stay aware and on your square. Use the power of the air. I just have to make it clear. Don't be subject to the fear. They've been pumping it a lot, coming from the cops, stemming from the top. If you study history, you'll see the Inquisition operations never stop. But I don't give a damn what they said. We the truth, too stern. We ain't scared of the feds. Look at folks still laying in the bed. Mama take that young son and put a fez on his head. Crown him, yeah, crown him, king, yeah, crown him. If we ain't building, then we drown him. I don't give a damn what they said. We the truth, still know, but we ain't scared. Look at mama with her memory back. I guarantee she'll bring the remedy. Facts. Look at mama with her memory back. I guarantee she'll bring the remedy. Facts. She got the remedy, not the enemy. You defend them more than your own energies. So plenty G's become victims of the system. They can't read, we can't protect them. We should invest in time to correct them. Your life is a lie. Nobody wanna hear the truth when they're amused with the guys. And the guys in disguises, full of surprises, like military schemes to prevent an uprising and silent chemical wars. Secret missions afar, I'm giving it to you raw. But if you don't know who you are, then you don't get it at all. Therefore you won't get involved in your own salvation, which requires participation. But you don't give a damn what I say. You hear the truth, but your beliefs still stand in your way. They tryna get all the babies off the land. Mama take that young son and put a scimitar in his hand. Let him go to work with it or berserk with it from the earth, really. So the first silly motherfucker tryna catch my mother slipping, I'ma hurt quickly, I'm for peace. But I still gotta keep a peace. These human beings acting like beasts, snatching all women off of the street. So I don't give a damn what they said. We the truth, too stern. We ain't scared of the feds. Look at folks still laying in the bed. Mama take that young son and put a fez on his head. Crown him, yeah, crown him, king, yeah, crown him. If we ain't building, then we drowning. I don't give a damn what they said. We the truth, too stern. We ain't scared.
Only because Brother Corey's in the chat, yo. He just put up so many Moorish flags. I gotta do it, yo. I gotta do it. Forgive me.
I'm so vexed, motherfucker. I studied.
Exalted Cyclops.
Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? I put one foot forward at a time. Enter the state of the mind of the living and know you be living a lie. I put one foot forward at a time. Nothing is greater than that, cause I know it's the highest and presence of all. And every day is a new level. Transcending your animal ways, open mind like the first two petals. Blossom on a rose, risen, rising, realizing, advising. If you ain't know, the main goal is to do better. Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious?
I fall back and let the rhythm hit him when the schism possess him. It's time for Allah to redress him. Call, court. All of y'all confessing how your petty mind state is molested. Follow circle around your seven sincerely. No cap, no shade, no sun, seriously. Full of clips in the nine, look here. I dare you mirror me. Since access, nobility, concept clarity. Remember, you could never compare me. I be third, 33rd, 360 spherically. No thing or think is out of context in my spirit. Bag up and flip, core coherence. Constant content cultivated up. Another level like the muddy. Make sure slap little buddy. Treasonous act never funny. I don't sell packs, motherfucker, I study.
Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? I put one foot forward at a time. Enter the state of the mind of the living and know you be living a lie. I put one foot forward at a time. Nothing is greater than I, cause I know that the eyes are presence of all. And every day is a new level. Transcending your animal ways. Open mind like the first two petals. Blossom on a rose, risen, rising, realizing, advising. If you ain't know, the main goal is to do better. Be calm while they project disease and bombs. I recharge. Energy is so free, we're on. I respawn out of scratch like I can't be harmed. Anti-terrorism, swear it isn't classic John's. No magic wand. I know they want a passive song, but I'm active like a pickup game of basketball. Breathe freely, you ain't gotta wear a mask at all. Easy, easy, that ain't even an attack at y'all. Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is
content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concepts.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, at the end of the day, I know I went over than what I was supposed to play. However, when Brother Corey put that up there, I was like, oh, I gotta do it, because that's actually the second song. I got a confession to make. So yeah, I have here like a small studio setup, but I have a much larger studio setup at my first office, which I'm soon to go and retrieve everything there soon. But yeah, man, like I do a lot of production, mixing, mastering. However, I didn't want to be bogged down with it, so all of my bros basically have whatever it is that I have, from if it's software, knowledge, whatever. Matter of fact, all right, I didn't forget, I got to get the waves plugins too,
no
bro.
rush, no rush.
Yeah, but bro, we really work on music, so as eventually, that's why I don't want to mention it, but eventually I will be gifting things to you, Mully. You know what I mean? And so that you'll be actually just like, hey man, this just on us. It's for the love. Boom. Have fun with it. Or hey man, I came up with this hook. I would like to see you or see MicBroSis collaborating with, you know what I'm saying, with Brother Aro or Brother Corey, or we can do something where I guess maybe everybody could write a 12. You know what I'm saying? And we can get a song done where everybody knocks out a 12 or something, or we could see how it goes, man. I'm telling you, I really see something great happening, because I can see when people are great writers, songwriters, lyricists, and can just come from with different styles. So, I mean, even though, even I and Brother R have a song, but we're not playing that tonight. Okay, so we're about to yield the floor. So what the thing is though, what I like to do in terms of what Mully had did just this Wednesday, it's about community building. All righty. And so a way to do active community building is sharing in our gifts pertaining to expressing ourselves through cognitive resonance. And that's what you heard. When you heard MicBroSis, that's cognitive resonance. When you hear Crown 'Em by Paragon RICO, cognitive resonance. When you hear Paragon RICO and Core doing Unconscious, that's cognitive resonance. And that's our goal, all righty? And with that, guys, I'm going to yield the floor. Mully, thank you again, beloved brother. We appreciate you. We look forward to every Wednesday. Episode 21, guys, this Wednesday, the Mully and Marco show. Make sure you're there. 2 and 1 is a 3. You're not going to want to miss it. I guarantee. Guarantee.
Hey, bro, those songs, yes. I just want to say before we leave, them songs was tough, yo.
Yo, thanks, bro.
They was fire. And it's crazy because me and Chi, I call him Charlie Brown. We was talking about joints already. So that's, bro. Like,
you say y'all talking about it already?
That's bro. We already, he was like, I'm already supposed to have sent him. You just reminded me I'm supposed to send this. I'm gonna make sure I send him something tomorrow. I just reminded me, like, that's fire. I ain't know y'all had no fire like that. Y'all over there going in, bro.
Oh, it's a lot of music that gets done, bro. I gotta admit, like, we've been working, I think, collectively, because we got one joint, the first joint that they did. Like I said, I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna show you. Where is it? Is it? Oh, it's on. Is it on?
It's on I think it's Astrology Street or.
I think it's on. Hold on.
They keep on abandoning the platform.
That's their first one. Core and Paragon RICO. That's their first one. And it's the platform. Maybe I should just type it in, right? The platform abandoned not. And yeah, there it is. So it is on the Astrology Street channel. It is. So it's on our other YouTube channel right there. Wow, it's got 574 views. But it was released, I think, in October 2022. That was the first one. And, you know, we actually got a copyright for it. It's actually over here. Let me see. I got the copyright on because, you know, it was an experiment and we wanted to see how far it would go, actually. But let me actually pull this real quick. Just very, very quickly.
Yeah, that one was like an honor.
Right here.
That one was an honor for real because Taj was on that joint and it got copyrighted. And you know, recognized as being in Morocco.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the people can actually. Maybe we should show them just real quickly. So let me stop the screen share or whatever, and then guys, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. So just to show very quickly to let Mully know, like, yeah, bro, like we really focus on those things or whatever. I mean, I try not to bring stuff like that out or whatever, but it is what it is. So I guess I would have to maybe, let me do this. Let me go, boom, boom, boom. I'm speaking, let's spotlight for everyone. And then let me turn this thing around right here. And then maybe show you guys this way. All righty. And so you guys will see it's actually a certified certificate for that song, the platform Abandoned Not. So there's actually a couple of versions to it. I think it's a radio edit. Actually, 3 of them, a radio edit, the explicit edit, and then the Trinstrumental, because most people know me back near the Baltimore, Maryland Corporation as Trini or Trinidad. However, as you guys can see, yes, Hasan Ghaziel Bey. All right, sound recordings and musical works. And it says citizen of Morocco, domiciled in Morocco. So you guys can actually kind of see these things, right? And then the 5th name, the 5th appellation on it right there, Brother Taj Tariq Bey. So as you guys can actually see, we actually have that there. We want to keep everybody's location as it is on the copyright disclosed. However, yeah, I mean, I'll be very honest with you, bro. Been doing music for a lot of beings, maybe even underground near different jurisdictions or whatever though, bro. But with that being said, and let me relieve the spotlight. With that being said, I mean, we just, at any given time, I'll just make a track because I've been producing for quite some time. What I do is all right, bro, here, I got an idea with this, idea with that. And now my bros are like, Brother R is like, yo, I'm writing 3 songs a day. Fuck it.
3 songs.
You know what I'm saying?
3 songs a week. 3 songs a week. I wish I could.
Okay. 3 songs every 7 days. My apologies. I was loud and wrong. I thought he said 3 a day. I'm going to say, wow.
Yo, that would have been.
You about the Paragon Depot to mixtape game, dropping that much.
Right.
Yeah, you're working on a mixtape,
I'll be having like 2 mixtapes a week, huh?
You know, I said you are working on a mixtape, you said though, right?
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, I was thinking, you know, I come up with these ideas sometimes and I don't follow through. I got to work on that. You know what I mean? Just being honest. But a lot of times, like the projects that I work on, they don't get put out because of the people I'm working with. So like now I've taken it into my own hands just because of the fact that, you know, what you've blessed me with as far as information and suggestions that you've made that I've actually yielded to some of your suggestions and got my own equipment and learning to mix my own stuff. Like the last joint that was played, I mixed the Unconscious. However, you know, I'm not doing it how a professional could do it, or how even the bros, I consider them a professional. You've been doing it so many years. But like, I know that once I do learn that professional way of mixing, like it's going to just take it to a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you already know, like I said, bro, yes, I've been running people's studios, building people's studios near the Baltimore Corporation, going north near the Camden, New Jersey Corporation, even down south, and they're helping people near the Covington Corporation, which is there. Covington is near Newton County. near the Georgia State Republic. So, however, yeah, 24 years of doing audio engineering. However, I did it in a hard-headed fashion, Mully. I did. People were telling me I can't do it, and I was just like, I'm going to make the track. I'm going to write it. I'm going to mix it. And I was studying bass frequencies for like 3 years until I actually comprehended. So shout out to Bruce Swedeen, who recently passed 2 years ago, who was the chosen engineer for Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson. That's one who I pay attention to very closely, him and David Gibson. I do not fuck around. I actually pay attention to some really great engineers. So I'm more of the being that I listen to the engineer more than I actually listen to the artist, because I know the engineer is going to actually bring it out. You can't polish a turd. So I want to make sure that the recording was great, and so that they can actually do the mixing and mastering accordingly. Okay, we went more further than I wanted to. So this is where we're going to yield the floor. We love you all. Namaste. 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 Islam.